kai au.
Kai. Ia, masaro la a makaia ka ko o ka ko mo mau mo le. Ia I kai mai le ka ko me Kosovo se kulo. Ia le sunga ia Sanchez. Ia le o mo le karsanga le sunga le kusira pe on ka au ingai ko fionga. Ia ile pakeki le a le sunga ia Carlos. Ia. Ole silfia le malo ka komiki wa karsanga inga mai fo ile sunga ile fa kongu ia Carlos. Ia be afa ole la pe kalia le o mai ole sunga le fe pule ia Melissa. Ia skasi fo yo sui lau a fongo. Ia e la ko lua mai I lumo ngfo mo mau. Ia wa fo ngi sidia ko fionga. Ia ngi ke fo wa e fo se fa sa ko fionga pe nga ia nga kausanga ia kalo kulava male. Loko mawalalo I malo ka komiki. Ia ongole kamafo ia ele kelele. Ele fa inglisi au paula vole. Ole kalngoa fo mal fa so mai ele. Ale sunga ia Carlos. Ia. Ia, le se si ia. Ia fa kalo fa ku I lau sunga le. Pionga fai pule ia Melissa ngi kao. Good morning Mr. Carlos. Morning. And members from our SHIPYARD Services Authority, Ronald Reagan SHIPYARD Authority this morning. Here to testify on for your budget for the 2025. And we're going to give you the floor first for your remarks, or maybe Honorable Melissa to open remarks, and then we give out to the floor for some questions for you, Mr. Carlos, and members from the SHIPYARD.
Paptetu le fionga le te komiti. Ba le ma le fionga le pulisili po le fatono le toso va al tatu fanga malo le sunga le Carlos Sanchez. Ya me se fo ile sunga ya Ramo lo le o lo lima matuai tulango tupi fa so ne fo mtanga duang. E fa talo fatu dua fionga te komiti o package. Fionga sui malo me se le fionga sento ya utu. Fa talo fatu le io mau te lua fio le fionga le presidente le senate fionga sui presidente matama io le atunu fio le fionga le fontalai fionga sui fontalai ya male malu la vol mau to sui le taiao ya o la ngase leo o le auna tu lo ya fai masui o le fionga le te komiti o le tosova tatu fanga malo le fio ai o le fionga le sentoa le fionga ko wana malolo le matua ya tongiola me se le malo la fono le tatu to suva ya ua sabe van mai ono le fatala ulato le tatu komiti wao ya telefo ni sili winga le tatu package mo nei foto sanga lua fel wadima ya ile faanga yo inga le tatu to suva I nei America Samoa o le no fono fatu na o se so upu tam faye fa le upu wa fo ile silfia ia ole sunga fo pusili ia tele lava ile tulanga le fa English ia le halana le no fono fatu le taia a ole nganga molunga ia te mato ia ua mo fai na mo se ava no mato te sava le vale mai ai talia to fisili talia fo I fautuanga tu alalo ia wale fa ala le ia male fa le ole ngaluenga lo fa tinoina le fo mtanga ruenga ia ole abnone se tu atu le mato pusili ya mosona saunoanga fa feilwa man fa lo tella fa aftai.
Thank you, Sam, for the introduction. I imagine that you took care of saying hi and all those things because I don't understand. But anyway, thank you for the invitation to come and present our budget. First, I would like to let you know what is the situation in the shipyard. The shipyard is very particular business that we are supposed to repair ships, but the only clients that are for sure to us is both from APIA and both from Pago. And they are not enough to maintain the shipyard alive. A proof of that is that the shipyard has been going under around 4 times during Governor Tuñola's, when he was the governor. We rescued the shipyard from a company that went down. We came back this time again, and the shipyard was closed. And the problem is not enough boats to maintain the shipyard alive all the time. Why? Because the boats come to the shipyard every 3 years. After you repair it, they don't come back until 3 years later. So shipyard tend to go broke. Now, due to that situation, we have to promote ourselves, and we are doing a good job on having Chinese boats coming. We have 6 and 3 more coming until the end of the year. We have boats from APIA coming. The next one is the Samoa Express, which is a big boat. And we have been promoting also catamarans. During all my time in American Samoa, I have never seen catamarans being taken care. Now we are bringing that fresh money, and we have so far 3, and we have 3 to conclude the year. So it's a very big responsibility for whoever runs the shipyard to have 50 people being paid every 2 weeks because we don't receive any checks from the government or from anybody. We have to produce our own money to be able to survive. And we have been able to do that. Not only we survive, but we improve the shipyard tremendously. Now the shipyard can take 3,000-ton boats and 338 feet long boats. We did that with the help of the DOI because they want to be sure that in case of emergency, the Coast Guard boats have entrance to the shipyard. And we can now be sure that 85% of the Coast Guard boats can be serviced in the shipyard. Of course, they won't allow us to touch them because they send their own crew to repair them. But we have expanded and reinforced the shipyard to be able to do that. I don't talk too much about our board of directors, but 4 members of the board of directors work with you, are your peers. And they have a great influence in our work because is a board that is always on top of the situations. They know everything that happens there. They are always consulting, and they are always having to be to get the feed up of whatever we have. Now, we don't expect any. I think if we continue what we're doing and taking care of business like the ASPA tanks, nobody has here the equipment to take care of it. We do. We can go in and out of the ASPA tanks. We prepare ourselves having the proper equipment, and we are ready to that. And that helps. I don't think anybody here, it doesn't matter if they have business or not. I don't think anybody here will like to go to see the shipyard goes broke. And if that is the fact, they have to allow us to do extra work outside the shipyard. Otherwise, we will go broke. There's not enough boats. And we do a great service to the community. We teach kids to weld, to paint, etc., etc. 6 of them are already in Alaska and Seattle. It's not good that they leave, but it's good that they send money to the parents and to the families over here. We can teach them, but we cannot hold them. This is very democratic country. Anybody that wants to leave, leaves. We cannot pay the $26 an hour that they pay in the shipyards in Alaska and Seattle. But we can teach, and we have been teaching. If you go to the shipyard now, you're going to see a lot of young faces, people that they are learning. It's the only way we can get labor, because I'm sure you guys know that we are short of labor. We have to create our own welders. We have to create our own painters, our own sandblasters, because there are none in the island. So I have several guys from Nutle working in the shipyard, and I am pleased to let you know that they are very good workers.
Thank you, Carlos.
You have any questions?
Okay, whafkaila wai lau sunga le whiunga I whaipule, ia whapulanga fo ia sosoangi fo ile sunga ia Carlos. Ia ala kua kuloa mango ile maror ka kumiki e peung whaafonga. Ia lau whiunga, tungion?
Amen. Te lawe lau whiunga ma le amnoa, ia meisi fo io le lau lua sase rua ma le whiunga e santoa ia utu. Whataro whatu fo ile maru tere o komiti mo te rua le nei tae au. Ia, masalo le nā ua saunu atu le sunga ia Carlos e tusa o le ngā ruanga. O le meta aua lea leo ta ua Carlos. E le aini tupe a watu le malo e whangai o iai le ngā ruanga lea. E su e le a fo e le SHIPYARD ia ana tupe. Ia, o lana paketi fo e fo ia i tonu o tupe maua. I ngā ruanga I la taulo o whiangai male ngā ruanga. O le I lo utulanga whātaitei whono, ia au te mawhai ona watu o nai otonga ia mo le malamanga le whono whaitula whono. O le whawhitauli o pitisili na whaingta sa whawhiangai male toe tau ati nae o le shipyard. Ona e taunu watu ia le mātou board ma le mahaya le sunga ia Carlos e whai ma CEO. O le mawhaina awe I lunga ni waa. Ona o le teimia awe I lunga le waa se e ese le cradle ma le rail. Ia sa tele whawhita auri sa tau whai lawa e fo ia. O le mea sa mata ina sa whautuaina le sunga ia Carlos le whata wina o mea pu e ata. E tapu e ai ata o le rail. Ia masafa pe naona whaawa noa e le whono whaafoe le whatawino ia me pu ata. Ona pu e ato ale o le ato le rail e amata atua I lunga I pau mātu e tau I lalo I le fits lau futu. I le tono tusa o le fasu lima, o lima sfulu futu le loloto. O le mea lo ngata ai. Sa maua ai tu langa whawhita auli. O lo mafua ai ona whaima wha le tonu le le railway. Le alai ona se e se so o ma wha le a whai naiva. Ia ma whai na te leile ngā luanga I lona tau fia I te ni umi. O le melo na lua sa mata ina. Ona o ni marilianga ma le EPA. Ua whai aia ia inga I lunga le cradle. O le si mea ua tupu a watu le cradle I tutono le sami. Ua manu I lunga ona ua le aise awa noa sa wailewa I whafo ua float pe a o le si waa. Ia sa whasa au ina ia tūlanga e maise aere tūlanga le railway. Sa maua ai mea o ai oni li pea I aso ua mawai. E a watu whasi o mea mawhasi lau papa e tau si ai lunga ia tūlanga ia. Ina ua uma ona whasa au ma whatonu uma ia tūlanga ma toi whaavā ia lau papa I lunga le cradle. Ia sa mafua I loana toi fo I le waa. Leo ua iai nei le tūlanga de lei.
ua mawhai ona toe sisi o wa te tolu afe tone lo lato mamafa. Melo na lua ua mawhai ona operate cradles uma e lua i le taimi e tasi. O lona winga mawhai na sisi wa e lua i le taimi e tasi. E au noa mas whaafita audi. O le melo na tolu ua haia e le shipyard ia le tangata consultant ni mata upu tau le EPA wa le si le whaafita auli sa tau fia i ngā luenga. Ona o le leu sta i o tu la fono le EPA. Le lana haia e le consultant ia le ua ngā lue wawa lata ma le sunga i le CEO ia ua fo ia i uma ia whaafita auli ma le tue whaalawelawe ina i ngā luenga. O le mea lona wha, o le ngā luenga le shipyard, e cross-train mātanga te whai ngā luenga i te tonu o le ngā luenga. A whai e hai atu le tangata o le kāmuta. E a mata lona whai ngā luenga, a ola na whai wila, a ola na wela, a ole tofu. Ia divers o wai mana o mia a divers i teimi uma e sisi e waa. Ia o ngā luenga umalawala ia. A le eisa o ngā luenga e whai e le tūlanga le wela, ia sau whai le ofu tofu, walu tofu. Pe a sisi le waa. E lei astanga te leo i esu nanga ba. E o i tamai tai. Sa o atu e whiwhai ngā luenga fo ia clerks. Ia ai fia manao e fia i loa wela. Ia korengi fo i leo nai teine wha wela o isi nā wela o pito sidina le leima mata ina. Ia o teiniti ia o le leile wela e le o manatu la toe e whatumutumu lima le ngā luenga. O le mafuanga lalina, o nisi fo i vaenga o le malo o tapa atu i le shipyard, moni fisosoani, ma ua whaavanoa ina i le board le avanoa lea, a iei mata ngā luenga mana o mia fisosoani, a e ua lenga whatia i alatou se leni, ia o nao mai le shipyard e whaile ngā luenga, ia ai tālusanga muli le whetuna inga o alatou tupe, ina ia mawhai ai ona tutongi o ia tūlanga ma ua whapena ona whai, lea sa tūla e mai ei fisosoani le ngā luenga le tui tau whale leia o le wafu tele lea ina ua tautapuni ona o le tele o whale tonu. Ia o le shipyard nā lea na o mai whaile ngā luenga li pēa i lunga o le wafu ma toi te tala i le wafu i ona tūlanga whawhita au li sa o iai. O si mōni maupupu le nā tau ina tu ina atu i o tō luma i le ngā luenga a o le mea upi sili ana tā ua. E ui na ua whaititia lawa ma whaingata le tūlanga o waa e tō ai mai, ma ua wāwāma mau. A olo o mwhai lawa le shipyard o na race o lana ia tupe, e toe whaatupe ai lawa ngā luenga ma fuafuanga umo e au noa ma le tangi atu i le malo e a watu se fisosoani tau tupe. Iai, ia whatasi ai manai grants e tūsia lawa le shipyard, ele aufai ngā luenga le shipyard, ia e whai ei ngā luenga whaapitoa, ia e pei o na talano atu le sunga le CEO, ia o le tūlanga lana, and I want to commend the Chief Executive Officer of the shipyard, Mr. Carlos Sanchez, for his wisdom and for his dedication to the work. And he has brought a shipyard that was on the verge of total collapse to an operational shipyard that is now returned to full capability of raising 3,000-ton boats up to the full capacity of the shipyard. And especially the ability to operate 2 cradles at the same time. And we have been able, and we have recently raised 2 boats at a time and serviced 2 boats on 2 cradles at the same time with the same people. And I want to commend him and his staff and his famous WE program, where we don't say I at the shipyard, we say we. So when you come to the shipyard, you enter by the password we. Yeah, manuia le fontanga le neas.
Yeah, te mai lai whionga le whaipule ia whiu. Ia whiu.
A tonu lele wa whaafonga maliele. Mota, no afio ele afionga presidente, ma le fonfetalai, ma malu lua se lua. Ia e mesen pa ia mawalunga mota, il forsanga fo ele usau no manino i aile. Fionga li kovana, sunga le motua. Ngiola fa pe fo se fa soa mai le CEO. E wa madie fo ilale loto ma falongo. Atasi al sili. E anga tonu atu la usunga le tai committee. O le committee fa foi. Ona tulanga lea, one of the major concern that we don't have a boat from the Coast Guard, as was mentioned before, is the ability of the shipyard to maintain that boat. We be able to perform those responsibility if anything happens to the Coast Guard boat, if we do receive one over here?
No, we haven't been able to repair them because they are very particular and they are secret things that we cannot touch. But our job was to prepare the shipyard to be able to receive them in case of emergencies. In case of emergencies, the boat can go up and they will send the proper personnel to repair them. We become assistants, but this was a program that the DOI started, and we are ready for them. Anytime they need it, we are ready for them.
Thank you.
As we've said before, any boat up to the capacity, which is 3,000 tons, is capable, because not all Coast Guard boats are 3,000 tonners, and less than 300 feet, because the total length of the cradle is a little over 300 feet. So any boat that goes up has to be within that 300 feet. So any Coast Guard boat, the patrol boats that come to us and the repair boats that come to us, if they ever run into any issues here, they will be able, we can haul them on an emergency basis. But as Carlos had explained, we cannot contract the Coast Guard just yet because of security issues. They do not allow the Coast Guard ships because of certain equipments on the boats that are supposed to be trade secrets and or national security reasons. So that's the reason. But on an emergency, yes, we can bring them up.
Mahalo whaaftai mo le saunoha maamulama. Whaatul mau whaangfualoa le tātou mon mau ia e tātou alo atu mo le whamoe ne aso.
Ia, o ele mau, o ele whaaloainga, ia ai, o lo si mai peanga I ao ia le malor kako kumiki. Ia la kokula mwala fionga presidente, ia mai, ia, so mala fionga ia Malaipule.
Ia kong yola ko ngā sangwanga ngā lefi whaalongo I. Me ka le teamwork. A whai e umala unga ruenga ka muka, so sangi la uela, so sangi la ukofu. E ko kofu la urua masempe a sioki la ukofu. Wa o rua ko kinga o komiki.
Whamon whamaura tari le vai, yes.
Ia, mo ma foi pisiri.
Ia, la fionga le Saintoa ia Malaipule. La fionga Saintoa ia out.
No. After le samlanga lo fionga Saintoa. Le foi sumele sunga fai pule. Le low concern, Carlos, I remember recalling asking you last time about having a safety officer or safety supervisor for the facility. Now you're having all these people cross-trained from divers to the welder, carpenter, electrician. This is one of the hazardous working environment with the marine and with the railway. So I'm not going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask the chairman and Pekuli. And over here, I'm going to Chile. Well, also, no, if you're more motor, Kaur and Arwanga, a catching for Yahweh, a Kaur and Arwanga. I'll let you them Lana Kako Maloma, left out e silion ka ua mo le ngu I waa ma ngā kaifane. O le alawe ka mwhaere le mekso wa e whaanga I oi kupe maua I ngā ruenga. Lewa e sau ngoa e le o lawangi wa e o mai kongo e le o kele skupe maua. Ia, ai o le alme le mwhaenga ngā whesiri le malo mo se fsosongi. E se mafuanga lenga le asmai le malo mo se fsosongi le. O si mo mule lo fionga German.
Carlos, I'll answer the question since it's directed to me. The question is, why don't we ask the government for financial assistance? The answer is simple. O tali whaingofi, ona eui lava ina uti seleni, a o loo mawhaia e le metosovaa, ona maua tupe e lava, e whaatino ailana ia lava ngā ruanga. E leila se mea o la alai ona whai fuole na ata sanga ina malo, pe a whai o la lava e tino le matanga ruenga, e sua na ia se leni mamaua o lo lava, e mawhai ona whaatino ai o ana mata whai oi. O le ala na alai ona mata ule tā sanga ina, se tupe atu le malo o le ala fo na le mato so soni o le contribution na le SHIPYARD ia I le whatautainga o le malo ia lava lona ia lava malo si e sa ili se leni ma whaatino ana mata whaioi e au noa ma le whaapopo atu se si a venga wha tau tupe I le malo ai ma whai lava ia ona tau ave ona ia tūlanga I le ngā luanga pe ona mana mia.
I'm looking at the wages for the employees. Alexia authority because she lakun mawala lokong. I laport mafuanga nga ongole. Or kupe mawala fuanga e kongyo. O nga fengaluanga. Para Alexia mkangaluanga afape wo kolengi kan fengaluanga kofu. Fawila, Panama, Wela. There's always hazards involved with this kind of jobs. Conversion from a plumber to a diver, there's always a risk of having an accident. Al menga leo mafuengo silaku, langa leo kilo makamaka kol pakek. Isialanga kupe mole, saungale muka fengaluenga. You don't even have a safety officer for the shipyard. After last year, the incident that happened last year, it raised a lot of concern about the safety of the employees at the shipyard. And that's the reason why I'm asking you, I don't see any funding for any safety officer. You have safety supplies in your budget, but not a safety officer. That is, it's a must for you to have a safety person officer or safety supervisor within the shipyard to look after the safety of all the employees. You cannot be at all the places at one time, all the time, one place all the time.
We have a safety officer. We always have a safety officer.
Peng whaasaya maro komiki ngā kausanga ale o I Kongo le pakeki le safety officer ngā lingu melaongo. Ngā e new position ia ngā lo o I Kongo le safety officer le malo le kako me Kosovo.
That's fine, Mr. Sanchez. I'd like to thank you for that, but I still have a lot of concern about the safety of the employees at the shipyard. Make sure you have that, make that a part of your daily activities.
We have a safety officer, but we have another policy.
All right, that's all I'm.
Each of us is a safety officer because the safety officer is one person and they go here and there, but the shipyard is extended. So each of us have their back already. The proof is in 3 years, we have only one accident, very fatal accident, but only one accident in 3 years. That.
All right, Mr. Carlos, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, aku tama.
Yeah, le whianga le senko ia autu o ngā wakule le whianga le senko ia sori ai.
Ja, tule. Nei tai au, talo patu lo sunga pe pule me sa. Talo pas foi lo sunga Sanchez in nei tai au. Wa tele city wa tali. But SHIPYARD is a very important asset for the American Samoan government due to the fact that's the only ones around in order for our ships to be doctored and repaired here. Last year I was kind of feel good when you start going outside and do the work outside. But my only stipulation on that is no problem. It's because there was no work at the shipyard. So as long as you have a work in shipyard, it's okay. But if you don't have any work and you're free to go out there, I have no problem with that. That was a stipulation that I gave you last year. My other question is, you know that small dock on the sites where the two abandoned boats are on there? Is there any chance you can get rid of that? It's kind of like an eyesore in harbor. I don't know what's because I heard back then there was some cranes that were supposed to remove that, but as of today, it still hasn't been removed yet. So please look into that. Looking into your budget, Mr. Sanchez, I'm impressed with the budget because it's a $1.5 million up. It's the money that you guys are looking around to operate. That's the kind of authority that we like, innovation. People, when you get be an authority or move away from the government, you're not looking for handouts. You go out there and do the work and get the job in order to continue the good work for us. So I take my hat out for that one. You add 7 more people there. You move up to 53 employee. That's good. So I also that's one of the training that we need to do on islands welding. We do employ a lot of outside people from our neighboring island in order to continue those kind of work here. But I think that is one of the departments or authority we can look into when you do training people over there, so we can funnel it through and let some of our contractors use that kind of experience. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Kai, le malu le kako I le longa ni kai ao, io kai al fongo le, io al blesking mal fongo kalai. Mo kai lua. Skasi nge nga luenga ka ua kongo kako. O ke fa lua ingal mau. Ka kuru ingal mau, a paua la sini a fiang kong yola. Le va ngal malo le nga misi kupe mawat kupe fanga yai. A si la lenka ua mai le fianga ya uku. Masalo ka wan kalsanga ingal malo I me malepe uma ye au kafa. Maka ngai kongo kaulanga le kulou. Ai ka sangal malo se kupe fa mama e se me ye va malepe ye ke kongo le nakalaka le meko suva. La le fin ngalo le ale kaukomiki kakau kairanga renga le aka sangal malo ngai ya kilingi se uma ya va mlepe ya ukafa ile mole le le kakau kaulanga sila le ngula ka sangale afa ko duinga le mau ang fua ya na ngai nga renga ro ka kinga ye kalos ma le va nga ka malo. Kai
Ia, so ngoi alo fiona le monma o lo fiona sento.
Ina nei fa pe le singa luenga le meto so va alo fia I va ia sa tu inatu o va. Ele oni va le meto so va. O va ia o le si va al va le nei o una toso mai. Le lopo filme la ave iai. Ona vatu le le Coast Guard ma le malo tau lai taile. I le wafu me to so va o isi va ua e o atu le whatau tenga fo o lai lava iai ua o ese tangata ai tia I va o va ana watu di pea o tu ua ia o le ropo o filme la ave ai o le mea pitsili o na matanga sa iai o le crane la le sa iai le malo sa taula I le pito le wafu le o le meto so va o le ropo la ave I fea ua le ai foi se whainga le malo na whai ai I le teimi leo le amatanga lua whelus fulu. O mea lana sa mafua ai o na te leo le vainga lea. Ina ua toso mai umala va ana tuu I luma le mea sa iei le wha moe moe, sa iei le kong kalate taun uatu le wha tau tainga fou. o loo iai mo le tipi ese ina o le steel, ma ave ese ave whatau. Ia whatai e taunu atu ia mātou i le tūlanga lea, ua sola le konkarate, le whaia se ngā luenga, ai whaurara ia i lava le ota lea ma le mātanga. Ia nā le no whaia i lole le whai ungo le ave se mai uma waa nā ma le crane o mea ia, ta tia i le tūlanga lea, tau sa ili se hauala. O avanoa umala e avanoa ai ma o atu le au whai ngā luenga Carlos, a maua teimi ua le ini ngā luenga te tele whaia. Ia ona au mai leo le au wela o mai tipi leo o mea matuu i container. Ia ona whaafsotai leo la tōu ia e whaia ngā luenga ia, e o atu e toso mai. Ia ona o atu le toso mai e le whataua. Pau an mea o le atu e toso mai container ma ave whaitalia la tōu pe o e whatau scrap metal. O ani tūlanga iai, ai paule ia le mea o le ave se mai. A whaia e tau te pasi atu. No tau silasila lea, o le maunga sa limas fulu mon tupu le maulonga tele o le melea. Lai ua toi le ititi a singa luanga lai tutoe nei. O le whawhita auli lai tutoe i le crane, o le sima. Sa le i loa i aso o tūnai, o te tonu atoa o le crane, o lona awivi, o le sima ua matua whiu e whaonga ia ia, i tua i ngā masini e se wha malepe ai, e matua le malepea. Ia ai o loo whawhita au li pea le wā male IPA, e musu le IPA e ave wha mangoto le mō le taulanga. Ia o le ala nā la ala ina tau pe upe ai pea i nā le tūlanga lea. Ona o le aise whainga ma whai ona wha malepe au si mā, ai le ma whai fo i ona wha atanga ina le ave wha mangoto, ina ia wha te atu ai. Ai ana ma whai, o le vana mangoto tamai, ia alfa fita haulina ia ele o fatanga ina SHIPYARD faile na tūlanga ia le tari atu le nei whapea ai le se ngā luanga le metosofa au whai ai te le ngā luanga ua umona whai ia ai o lo ototoe ai lana i mei o lo te le pele whawhita auli i le tūlanga whaale tūla whono ia mono whaaloalo.
Dei lau, ia lau whionga whtui la lau ai erika ko mau.
Whaftai lewa loi lua whionga te kubiti. Mo e whātu lo wā fo il pa ia mo te lua. Si o atu le whionga il plestene. Ia malumba le pa ia o whionga i sentoa. Po ia whionga mai le whionga il whawhtalai ma le tātou mota. Sa whiawhaiana ia ufisili. Ia au le usau no le whionga i sentoa ia tongiola. Ia le ua manino fo ia tūlangana. Tau pong sai paule mea lau ua whionga le sentoa. Ia mana ia fo ile. As you remember, Carlos, that we tore your place twice.
Yes.
You promised the House members that you will remove those stress right before the compound. But that was 6 months ago. As of today, you haven't done anything. So, just a reminder that please do as you promised, my friend. I remember, I don't know if Honorable Sam was there, but many of my colleagues came and we met for a while, twice. So, mo le lau whionga le whaipule ia toe ai whaftai tele amo le noa whaina le mau.
Carlos?
Yes. Yes, I remember perfectly well. Remember, we have 5 boats there. Now it's only 1.5. Each boat cost us $50,000 to cut them because we don't receive pay for the scrap metal. So cost us $50,000. So we have to go by our budget. If we have the budget to do it. Now the other problem is to get containers to put the scrap metal there because the Koreans before were very active on it. They are not now. Why? Because the war in Ukraine and all those places have created a lot of scrap metal that is going to Korea. So the price, you have almost to pay for them to receive it. And we don't have that budget. But I will continue cutting it.
On that situation, you didn't tell us it cost $50,000, but that's okay.
That is cost.
Hei. Ia, te teri, se mea fōu kulanga, awa pēo kulanga o ngaluenga. Se masau kaimi e.
This is very, very important because I was a member of the board over there. That's the reason why. And I'd like to bring it to the attention of the as Mr. Sanchez as well as the board of directors. If it's okay, will you give me 1 minute?
Ia,
No.
ala wa asir fia lau whionga lau ieri lau lau a whongo.
I understand that, but I was saying that, Mr. Sanchez,
Yes.
I would like to hereby acknowledge the revitalization of the board of the shipyard, on the slipway, how you advance that slipway. I'd like to thank you for your outstanding job that you've been doing that. I was a member of that board, and I was when you initiated that as special authority under the executive order of the government. But also another thing, they're talking about, Honorable Senator Tongiola is talking about money. I really thank you, Senator Tongiola, for being a good man. You don't want to ask more money, but I want to advise you. Look, they're complaining about that, all that, the sheeps and all that trash all over on the other side. I'm asking you, go see Catherine Sailua and Malemo, to get a local fund for you to remove that. I know for my advice to you. I know you control your own self, your own money, you earn your own money. But I'm asking you, you have the right to ask for more local fund, say at least $500,000 to remove all that trash so nobody could complain about you. Not only that, let me ask you a question. Have you already, on your all the certified scuba diving instructor, do they have their insurance?
Insurance?
Insurance,
The
diving insurance.
The government don't insure it.
On your
Sure,
scuba
under-
diver, all your scuba diver, are they all certified scuba diver?
No, we had 6 certified and they left. Now we have a new group and we are bringing somebody from Honolulu to certify them.
No, the reason why I ask you, they don't want you to be sued by anything happen for those divers because some divers, they are not certified. Another thing too, I want to let you know, the underwater constructions, what they have to do anytime they have divers to go for the underwater construction to put the dikes of the ship when they bring it up in the slipway.
Yes.
You need 2 divers, required 2 divers.
We have
Okay.
6. We have 6.
Oh, you 6, okay, that's okay. You meet the requirements, but anyway, I'd like to thank you very much for trying out and for the benefit of our government. Also, I'd like to thank you for the board of directors as well, all the members of the board for taking care of our shipyard.
They don't.
Thank you, God bless you. Thank you very much.
To the honorable member, the chairman is PAD certified. Yeah.
Sei fakuale vai pule le saole ka kuku lalo leo ai
Ia,
ka kulo la blau
ia, a vei leo vai vai e whai mawhong kawan mole le. Whako le whionga iau, molekule anga whawhkai, lau whionga le whai pule, mas fwoi le sunga CEO, ia malu fwoi le kako vaenga o le meko sofa se kulo le SHIPYARD, ia mai sātala, ia mo le whaamangoi ngā fwoi kai mingei kaiao, ia o mai kak whaasor kulang o pākeki, ia o le kako meko sofa, maro whalolo.
Thank you very much. And this has been a very good session, contrary to last one. But we have improved. And one thing you have to be sure, our team, the we team, is not only work there. We have our souls and we have our bodies there every day. We are passionate about the shipyard, and I am proud of the team. And
Thank
I
you.
am proud of the everybody that works
Thank you.
there.
Thank you, Carlos.
whaatai atu le malo le whono whaitula whono le tai au, whioi o le whionga Prestene, whionga sui Prestene, ma le malo le mauta o tamai o le atunuu, whio le whionga le whongtalai, sui whongtalai, a mese le malo le mauta sui, o le taltonunga le tai au, a matango fia le tato silfa inga, mau te taltonu wa matango fia fo il tula isau noa le whionga le teitei komiti, le whionga le sentoa, le kovana malolo, le matua ia tongiola. E oto atu ia nisi o tūlanga ua mawhai ona whaalau le leia, ma whaale leia taluan tūlai mai le fōi komiti whaafoe, whaatase ma le whio atu le sunga pusidi, ia Carlos Sanchez. Mātou te momoli atu le ngang whaaftai, whiona Kovan Sili, a maise le whainga malo. Ai wha pito se whaamtalanga, momoli atu le ngang whaaftai i tōa whionga, le whaatua ina o le whio le whionga i le te komiti le whionga i le sentoa, whionga le mutua le kovana malolo ia tongiola, malo nofu atu, le mamalo le komiti whaafoe, ia le sunga i pulisiri, ia maise le mamalo le matanga luenga. O lo tangi lava i lima i le whaatinoina o le nenga luenga. Mātou te whiawhia reporti atu, o tam whanau lava le tātou atunuu leo lo o ngāre moe, i whaatinoina o nei ngā ruanga. Mai whiawhia fwoi le roto, e waai atu, ia ua te le lava suinga. Whaafitai tele mo le amano, whaafitai mo le whaatutuina o le mātou ngā ruanga, mātou te sono muli, ma le ngang whaafitai, e manuia tele tō whionga, ia ai ola mātou, i le alofa ma le anga leo le di, soifua.
Hei. Ia, la kumuri aku le ka kumon mau i ngei, ia o le a so mai le ma ka ngaluenga o le procurement, ia i le wawainga le sunga fo mai, ia tia le msunu mi ka ele tuale, maua le i kulau kolus hukasi kesi malkasi, ia kul kolus hukasi, ia kesi hukolu. Lo ia i pa keki, ia lau whionga pone?
Wa mai lole re ku pare ku se ko miki ko pa lai mak.
Lole.
Ia.
Ia fa mormore lo fa luenga. Ia. E mai se bange pa ia le moka. Wa ka pa ursu ka koinga. Ia e wala waku le sungat fatonu ka kumon mau ia sungat fo mai ia sumai ma kal mai au. Ja, le male whionga i autu, kai kumiki fo le mau kumarunga. Ia, lima whakalofa malo kumiki lau sunga fo le whatonu, sunga fo mai, malo fo le mkanga luenga nge kai fo i le lofa malanga le kua, malo fo le malanga manguia, ia le waka ko whero e nge kai. Ia, ua o mai lau sunga whatonu, malo le mkanga luenga, ia se i mon mau fo i kulanga lau pa keki kalafa kupe. Ia, luas fulu lima, ia peonga winga mai. Ele anga whionga le kovang siri. Ia la kua kula mongoa i le saunganga lau whionga le fomai. Ia on kumaila lea, ia ngai siri foi. Ia ale malo kumiki malo whaloalo.
Tai atu i lau whionga le tai komiti. Na e whio mai le whionga ia utu. Ia o lau so a tau le komiti o le paketi a le whono whaitu la whono. Ia e mua na o whaatulo atu le, pa ia male malu o le komiti fo nei tai au, ia o lea whionga le presidente ma le malu o sentua, whionga le whonga whetalai, ia masui tau whio le mau tau sui, pa ia lava nao le whono whaitu la whono atu tuila manua, ia o nei tai au e pio na saunoa lau whionga le tai komiti, ia tu atu le limo le whaatalofa, ia tu sai fo ia le o mai, ia ai a fo isi moli mau le paketi al nei mo tā ngā ruenga.
Hei. O le kulau kolus hukasi kesi markasi. Te ioa kul kolus hukasi ia kesi sumarkolu lo o iele pakeke o kangaluenga. Ia,
Ina,
kua kula vango. Ia, songo ile, lau fionga fo.
lei o pe ona silsila ye tu fionga sentua ma faipule. Tu sai fo i o le paketia. A name tanga luenga ia pe ona na watau auina. Yo le paketia name tanga luenga tasi maleono miliona pe ona ye il tau sanga fal tupel nei. Yo lau fainga fo ilna o le matau paketia lo ia il taimil nei. O le matau tanga luenga ia Eleni Grant e mau mai ai ia vangana o le tupetal sanga mai le i tupe whaale toi whaale. Ia leo lo whaangai o ia ia le matau tanga luenga.
Okay, au whaafonga maro kumiki e rea swing or pakek. Mai ngā kausanga ia se o mai tala whaal kupe nge kausanga ia e hoi kang whainga luenga ia o lo ku mau pele malo kang whainga luenga. Ia, lau fionga mlai pule.
E te ato la fionga chum, pe o mau kingi kao, morian mau whaanga fuar sa kumul mau. Ia ai, kunga mai whaitinga ngalo mau.
Ia, ka vea leo vai whai ma kau morfon maro kumiki. Moria kule ngā whaafkai lau sungar fo mai malo mkanga luenga. Ia su mai makal mai au ngi kao. Ia e kako kakangoa iwe anga lengi fsidi ia ngā leo wawaia. Ia o le kuranga lava leo lau pake kisai ngā kausanga. Whaat kupe ala mai. Ia se o fo kausanga fo. Ia ia whamangia lea kua i lau sungar fo mai. Ia molia kua lo whaia Harris.
Whaftai, ili lua fionga tai komiti a tai nane ia mo tai lua ia aia foi le longa nei tai au le ai e mo le atila nganga le whaftai tele ia whaftai lo tuanga le ia i ma ua nei ma le sui whaatonu ia ai mai selo mātou mtanga luenga ia lo whale atua ia whaatu mawina lo o tau malos ia ai ale i le longa fo i o pāketi ale whainga malo ia sa ia steimi o tātou tau mawa ia lo whale atua ia maua i nase manu iai tai komiti ai mai se mo tai lua ia ai ora foi ma ua mal tu fini nei so i fua ma ia manuia
Ei, paso i fua. Ia, la aso mai le kako po administration. Ia mo le kulau se fulu ke si malkasi. Ia se i o aku le se fulu ke si luas fumalua o lo iai fo i kongo ma le nalo rwa info ia le sunga fatonu ia loyan ia le kako mala valele ia mo le kusi la kiki da kako ia o le kulau fasu fiku ke si malkasi ia se yo ku fasu fiku ke si luas fulu malfa o le fulu ke si malkasi o lo ia ile pa ke ke makanga luenga lea ia e vala wa ku malfa lo alo ia ile sunga fatonu ia sumaima kalmai au whakalofa whawhero ia kui lau sungat whaton maluan mkanga luenga ngai kai a fau ia ua o mai fo i mo mau kulanga lau pakeki ia pe on whakasanga inga ia mo le kala whal kup fo i luas fulu lima ia la kua kula mongoa i lau sungat whatonu i lau saungang ia ma karangoa mai kulanga pakeki o ngā kua fualo i lau mongoa i malor kumiki malor whaloal
Taimo le avanoa e whaatulo watu i le pa i o le maota a vea o leo e Vai masui o le sunga sui whaatonu ia tu mom tuu. Ia ma le teu tupele tu mau ia Janelle. Tu a ua mātou te whaatalo whatu ai. I lua fionga i tai komiti. O lo o wa lua tai ino le neilo i longa. Ai mai se lea fio. I lana fionga le preseno senati. Lea fionga i fonga whetalai. Me pa ia ma le mamalu. Sa mama tina lea tunu. A fionga i sentua, a pea fionga i whaipule. Ma lole tau a tai, ma lole whaiva, ta eo manuia.
Ma lole, se fo mamuia. Ia, la kua kula vangole, ma lo ka kong. Ia, e inko sili, ia, mole, mkanga luenga fo i le sunga ia loyan.
Pe se whērtis whamtarangan mātou paketi, whamon mot.
Oh, ia, so mo?
Ia, e wawe lava. O le paketi o le tausanga whaitupelua a whenus fulima e 5 miliona mo le wafu. E eno na whasilinga iwa sfutol wafe mai tausanga lua afe, lua wha. Ia mole malai wa alele. Paketi nei tau sanga. E 2 miliona walu se lau i wasifunu no afe. O le e se to e senga se lau mal wha afe. A lo iai le mato miliona mai lalo special programs o subsidy. Lo so soani fo ia wale. Tau singa mlai wa alele pangpango fiti uta ma off. Ia whaftai.
Ya, whaafonga le maro ka kokumiki. Ya, le fiong sua.
Kaya ko lo fiong kaya komiki mo le mo o fa fo malu fiong ole les kenga mas fo le fo climate sen ko a mas fo so filia nei sa singia la e sa wanga ale fiong al fa tonu a mas fo le fiong ya lo le nga sa ngo fa pe wa ave ese mai le special program tu langa ingel moko swains a mas fo manu ale peng sa ngo mai ka ko Fatonu e iwasu kolu afele si ia le pakeke le waf ia o kalkono ngafo le ia transportation le pa mole po ia la se ang wa fiu fo ka su e ko o pakeke po fe ia smlanga inga masangia ku ila lo special program ale o le o fela e kulanga fangala inga il moko swain sa mes fo mo afa mol
O malam lama sili o se paketi mo Swains. Ia, o tai noa man malam lama. Salu no whainga wenga i Board Administration. I le iai lama se paketi mo Swains i lalo le matanga wenga nei. O te loa i lalo lava o le ofisa ko mana. Whaftai.
Ia whaftai. Io sa pena fo sai full volta o sanga o whapena fai. Leo lo iai se lean sa noa mai lea fionga o le o le chief of staff a pena fo il fatto no lo ave ese mal special program a o tu atu lalo tanga luenga fa mon po se tu langa na
ya ka sanga ku le lo fiong ya se yo o el keme ka ka luenga special program ya nga silingia le ole sunga ya lo le ku langa pa ke ki le pe fa silingia lo fiong ya lo fiong al fong talai ya dalo le port ya pe o mau lo fiong ya lo fiong mo la pule
wa le so si o mau le ko fa ko lo fong ta te komit lawo na ye ta to mau ka pa ke te tanga ba ya mo le mau le ka ya fa futa to mau ya to mo fa finga no mo o fa lo te
o il mau o fa lo fa colwinga ya le fiong prestene lo si mer au ya ma le fiong ya stui
after ya chairman ni si mo ko lo si fa le nga hoki sa ro ka fa longo mai meleng sa ngoi el mau ka winga ile me ko so va a kupu se makangi ba ala ka lo ka e kala ka o ko umai pang o le mesi lenga a va o levan ka unha vese ave fango ngoko. Ili si va ala le ngoko wa dia di elunga le. A kupu ngingi me faunga i faukasia angu uia feo ai la vese va. O ai la e pole me. A wa levan fai a clear ka imi ngomo ngifa me wale lea le. A va ala ka ure kwa va au kanga ka uhia. O lea nga, sa o le lea sa nga kongiona. Leo fai ma la pisi se kulo mau ka oka kongor kaulanga oi lea fainga a fainga kele kaulanga pampa a fia in fanko o le se ula sa mi kai fanko karo la pisi ngai mau ka oka ngai oi la te kenga me e fale a va ala ka ure va o lea nga
Ia, o te tonu o le tawhai oi lava a le malo, taun ona whaanganga si tupe a wale whaamaina o nei la pisi. Ai te whaai ai lo atu, o lo iai le matou, tau sanga sa tu atu federale, i le ua whaamanu ia ina. Ia ve ese ai wa ate tele e wha. e 3 miliona. O te mine ua whailua mai a te mātou, o lo tā pena la mātou mo leanga nuenga. E le vaale i lunga i le uru o mlai vaalele, o le vaale tā toso le e-service wharf, o le isi vaale i tutonu o le wafu. Ia ma le vaale e le ongoto pa o mana o mia o na vaesi.
Aile avea o e mawhatonu e teimi o Claire o ina pu le ala unga ruenga sai.
Grants manager le lusu lima tausanga e avea uma deputy director.
A o isa wa ia me tau tupe auto.
E ese lava grants manager, ese financial manager, o au le grants manager.
Sa e mawinga se kopi o le audit report e. Tenga mai mo le board administration.
Le lava.
E whaale le recommendation e sa. O se sifuru marfiku le me e whaukua mai e le audit e. O le si me le whaangafua e former director i anga e. O kiki a milionga o fees a valele e whaangafua. Whenga mau ele authority e. E whaangafua e fees e.
A mantua le teimi al koviti sa punia e malai vaalele. E le iaini pisini sina tsala. Sa whaangafua la tongina o rent.
Close to $1 million? Because le mele le sa uma e le audit report e mukau kia le audit report e sa report e misuis. E le ngaka voia o lungo le waf. E a nge kau su e kupi.
Yeah, sa amai whai maoni sa waive rent pisinisi o lo i tonu lunga mlai vaalele. O le sosoani fo ilia sa whainatanga luenga i nai pisinisi ua tapunia mlai vaalele. Ai iei fo i tupe el federal sa sosoani mai teimel koviti. E to e whaatumu ai ia se leni ia sa o ai mlai vaalele. Whaumia mātou o le reimbursement ia sa tonu mlai vaalele.
Sa kako i ur kalanga le apron o awhewha i ngā mea. Ko uma kako i ur kalanga, e la umar ko ngofo inga o awhewha kupo i ngā mea. Penga o aku ai whaongo mea si i alu, le la whai.
Ua mai anga duenga le al apron.
O lala mele, e o mai ika ka mai kongor valere o mai lala. O le mea paka il valere.
O le apron o le mea paka il valere.
A mea kako i ingi, lala mea wo i le plan o le mla valere, kako i ingi o le mangi o le plan na amaka le terminal me whai o awhe amakai.
O le termine o lo whaanga solo lava le design ua tu atu fo ili matou proposal mo le FAA mo se ala ngā tupe. E 35 miliona le matou application le submit ne a you like. O lo matou ngā lue fo i ma le asida. E sosoani mai a matou i le whaatupehina fo i o lea ngā lue. E tele fo i nisi po kalama o lo matou sa ili e fo. A wale ploketi.
Tele tupe i e sau whale i tonu al maro. E no whaari e gonge, ke o kupe e whalele wafu. A mea whalele malai valele o whikiu ka mofu o a whea amakai. E a kausanga nge rufu wha o a whea o mai ngai ngami. E ni kire wawea, kausanga rofa sau kupe whangai o, i ke i puko e awe kupe.
O le tausanga nei sa watu e matou tausanga i federale e whaailo atu. E 5 matou applications ua whaamanueina. Mo le wafu, ia e worth le 3 miliona. Te mine ua whaailoa mai a te matou. Ai le whaapia e whaailoa mai loa au mai lo se leni. E tapenanga e whai. Le i o mai lava i a grant awards na a grant notices. Ia, mana wawa ted.
Arosta. Ia, whawhakai chairman.
Whaftai mo le awanoa. Lau sunga il whatonu. Lau sau no atu le fionga il plestene inisio. O tupe ia ua whailo mai whaanganga e maua e manua. Pela o tupe ia i le wafu ofu ia ma le wafu le utai I tau o le 2 miliona le fa pe matu I fiti o le malai va le fiti utai fa e fai ele ka e resurface ele
O le 2 miliona le sa fai lo mai le fa uman saini le fionga ko mana ia Grants Awards. O le tasi miliona e alu I le design o le airfield payment. E toi langa umai lunga le runway ma le apron. E toi whaafo pe o mele na fai ofu airport. O le 6 miliona e alu le updates o le payment maintenance plan. Mo malava alele umai tolu.
fa fele fitu se lau lima sfulma
lima suma lima afe o le wha umaina lea o ngaluenga o whai temi nei fiti uta lighting. E change orders o ngaluenga ele I na mana amia o na whaopopo. Le anto e whaatau sanga I se tupe e wha mai aile ngaluenga lea. Ngaluenga la lea e wha pe umani whai ungo se tema. Whai e ma le flight check. Al flight check wa longo mai mātou o le atu o ia February. Ia awanoa mai le vaenga le FAA lea. Whaatinoa po I lea. O ta whai hoi. Malam Ted.
o ye so ma fa e te fa le fale le fituta
O lea lava. E el mātou plan e ta o le Airport Capital Improvement Plan. E lima tau sanga matutal noe lava mal FAA ka hoi matu fontanga. E updates lava matu plan lea o le ofu terminal, ofu airport terminal mat fitu ta airport terminal. O ngā luenga I o lo fufuaina mo le tau sanga wha tupe lua hafe luas fuluono.
le whaftai o laupa keti o le tau sanga lufu lima o le sin nei vaenga o lo fale tonu tongi I la ulava vai I la ua vai o lo I tangata whenga luenga o le vanga lue e fo taimi nei o mai momo mai o le asi ito tau sanga mulmuli nei o no fo ingan ia o le o fo se me propose mai tono package o lufu ia I longa ese si tanga mafofo wina
Whaftai mon whafsili o le tapinanga o le pakete mtanga luenga tau sanga ni sa tu atu le mo le ili istanga tfenga luenga ili itu ua e mato si itono pakete ia au lava tupe ua tu ina mai mtanga luenga ia lea ua mo wa ile hafa ile
wale sila to ai tulanga yo tongi o tangata whenga luenga tāua tele o isi mtanga luenga au matua sky high le o so to ia leini ngā luenga o whaia o le wafu le o fele plan le fa pe fa wel fa le lungo le wafu le o tumu I container
o le Masina October whaapea e whaasala waile invitation for bid e tuatuenga luenga le whaasala a wāse kontarate o na whaapea la ia mo a mata ia February tau sang fo ngā luenga lea
le whaaftai tai lau sunga whaatonu ma le tanga luenga tai jema
ia lau fionga waa
Kai chairman malongo pakulo pa ia mo nengi kai au e de ko o yes fam kalanga ku sai po mo pa ia mo ma mal pai amol mole la sunga fa chonu e dua ngai o sili fa mon mo o yes fale o fa ia ka fale run way le imla vale o sau ko ka ko pa ki pe
Ola sili fa mon mon
o yes fale o fa o ka fale run way le imla vale di ai oh
o tele o sila fias
o le lua le fisili fa mo mole lau sunga fa tonu. O lo ia ngai kama fa inga venga le port. O lo mala au mai au le fa inga malanga i mangua ma. O ko kongi la ko uti fa me wa fiku ma singa le kongi la ko uti. Fa mo mole.
Simon Sili ia ele na tia le mea e sa le facial fo il ofengal venga. A lo tom pai atu a mato mal official package o wa tu pe fa so.
Oh. Fa mo mole. Ia ke ka ko ngwe ele fa ngo fielo ngal venga fa ton. Ai alo fangi ai ngai singe ko koi. Se ko kongi ngai kama ia lo malanga e. Ia ku ua ingo kulanga ngal venga malanga fa pe i mangua ma. Ai lo mo mia la wala ko inga kulanga o se dengi. Ai o panga ngai fisili fa on mole alo fangi ngai kama ia lo fanga venga. O fa chairman mo lo.
Ya. O ngai lava ngai au ia si mai ia alo ia ka ko mau. Ia le fionga ia utu so akule ma le fionga fai pule ia ape.
Luanga fisili like ya vale. Lan me o ka ko bridge for le po chat boy na vale len ka sa ngo ko il press. Fionga president. Awala le sa me lunga vale le sa ulalo. Wa me o ka ko me o ka ngula pure o kre ko o.
Wa tan o mai le tato ramp o ma foi on install o uni lose food fa na ma foi na train au fangal wenga train foi mal au fangal wenga la wa in air o uni lose food fa le songa fua na tu uai fa pe a matan fa nga ina le ramp ia tons fu minuti ole a se et ba le mo mai fa i lo pule la wa in air ele fa la le fa nga ina le ramp e o me la timini o le ma te fa tali po le ase la totali o po le ale ma fo anga o ma fo na ave le ma total sanga tusi po le ale ma fo anga wa o fo anga o mai na fai ma le pule fo i o le Hawaiian Air sai mo mo le fionga tuli fruen ia o la o tuli fo i le sa recommending a mail company o le ramp le o lo fa nga ina Hawaiian Air au kilani ia Malesi foi airport o company la vale tasi le fa wina ramp sia le sa fa wina le ramp le o mai tutsuila le la fa tali ala ma to tali le Hawaiian Air
ko fa singa leva o 2 months le fa kali o le ASG update man mera
ne ai
okay it is ka ko kupeng mo me DOT not too long ago ka ko va ya ka ko va le fe roi kako tak po dia ngai problems is kako kupe mo mai kako va ma po tak po
two ferries le los futas miliona le sa mai lalo le DOT FTA
okay
e fa aui na ile public works le anga o la tole va ai po kalama le a o le port sa fa ia le sanga ma fa anga yo ia fo ipa o timini o lo fa tali le approval FTA le TTIP le na submit le fatonu ya falio sina e mai alo le approve lo le plan le ia panga solo lo la ia ngal venga le
o le ala fo anga a ko department o le ala ale ka o mo se va tak po se va ale
ni ai lua ferry boats e la itia tu le manu ateli o le prokalama lea e na o ferries e alau ai le allowing tug boats.
Le va ala le sa no mai e paina le manu a.
O le ala.
Ia ka sanga. A o ke mi ka panga yo ye mengi. Ia va ku le fenga sen ko ia mala pule o ye ma sangi ke le ale rule i mo ko sau ke fe o muska ko va ia le kai kala fenga i mo ka ko wa fule mo. Pa o ke mi panga yo ye fu fuang. Ia moria ko men mawari e pang foroa ka ko. Un ba mi ka au ya e fai finga mo ko ke numa sai
ya malo lo ko ki kila mai ngai au yen si mai fionga i sento ya sento so le male fai pule ta pai
oi fatai lava chairman mo le avano I fa tolo kuile ia me ma wo ngor ta to morta ni tao ata lo fa fe lo ia tu director ma lo lava soi fo mo mes foi le deputy do so tau le e va versi of city me mo le tu le nga fa tai ono fa mo nga fo ta to tai mi mo sta to fe lo inga ma le au fa pisinisi na si fia e tu sai ma tatou container ia ba tu fo se tu lo le malo tatou mot ia ele pose di do le mele tu e wa le la fainga ona o le uti o tatou storage space ia e salo foi le mal mala mo le fono o lo ia ile tatou storage fee o lo fa penana charge afa pe e tono sfulu le fitu sfulu le fa i se tu lo wale fa o container uma ne foi e nele le foi le e tatou nu empty. Should we increase the feed for storage? Is that well, I thought me wala inga le avese yeah for it of business there the agents and owners why they can't get these. Well, I thought now see the film it's very eyesore le tulangon media ye ne tatou container ya yo oil paka lionga lai fa wa manga container. So la se fo fanga tatou tanga wenga. There's another way of how maybe we can raise revenue. Ko CCA lunga storage fee pa fa bill wa a lot of these containers have been around for a long time, but that would those fee le fo no mai ala to pe mai or telo container ia le wo fa uma ia le wo pengo fa ia o le wo fa le tonu ia tato tunu le yo se manga ia le ngata fo le tai si me to tato to so mai nai selen ia so sonia fo ia la fionga ma tato fa nga malo pa una serie tu atu la fiong o ia ni si swing o lo ia nei ia ai me se telo container ia fa nei le o ia se ava no ma fa ia na ave fa pe pole a fo le wala a lai no bole tau ma fa ia tau fa pisinisi nei avat ave do la to container ia because that's 67% of now container ia mo lo fa lo fa tai tele chairman mo le no
Faftai mo le no faftai for no sid ia bien silafia sa pasia tu le senate le pili fo em tanga luenga mai e si e lunga ia fees ale port on te mineo o ta o tu le house o lo fa tali mato po la fo so fu fuanga iai pe manuia pe le iai ia talia tu le faftai
tai ia le fionga le ia le fionga se to so di ai si malo a
ai e o el mau ale si lava pangaoki ole fale kusi mangua bele pole kelbe va kelo container se kulo ala le moka fele le container lunga le fale mangua le tusi a kubu nge le ka ko ku la ka nge masinga makangi ka ko a kubu se fale ko le kulo o kinga ka fele le uma container e lunga ko kele nga ngal container le lunga es ko fu ale kulanga ele kalfe ngai mangol mele o kol mangi ma fuanga mai le mai moku ia container empty fa per stakis ia ele lava about stakis ko ele lava la o mai va ia ma mai empty container la se fainga o ko e o ke fe kwa ela ka o ngeka ko le masinga makangi le lopo la finga lo le kua fele le ese umaya le mei lunga le wafu a waku ngai ka male o ke ai pe ai le si ro ele ngu le container le fa lo mai lunga es ko fu fuanga afkai le weka ko mau fu ai
ko ti mai ala fionga persene a mai ala fionga persene ia le fionga le su malu ia pai
e ko sine ko ava fale le ka o le lending fees le
patala aftala
il valide ele nei
no on sfutala mo balait
va mai podu lar ka ko lar propose nga mai o ko le ka ko ngilaus
o le proposal e vatu ia tu mai fatangana ile director o le port administration
se le o ko fisa
ai
ale wene ya me le wene
450 ile paunga above les fudu afe pauna
ja faftai
ja fionga te pai o ja on sa melo fionga te pai le fionga fon te lai
fionga le faton
O le ale kulanga o container e lunga le wafu. O le ale pasenge o container kampangi. Le tō wai lunga le wafu.
O empties uma o lo o ilunga o le wafu o lo o whaanganga mo le company. Ia ua whautuaina fo ile agent leo le swire e tā o whiri tue au mai o empties I to tonu. Ai whaanga empties ie mai tue whale o loa pēa uma o na offload ia uta o whale o loa. E whaanga e Star Kiss. O le matua reporti lava ia I masina uma. E tele lava empties ia e ave fafo. I lo empties ia e au mai to tonu. Ai pau lava o le lava o le space I lungo le wafu. O lea e pe ia se.
Io, le fikonga wa o containers ia kampangi e le ukongi se lafo. E le ukongi ngi fi. O mafuanga nga lai o nga umilungo le wafu.
Tolus fulu aso e free ai ia ona taulo ai an toso I fafo. And we charge.
O le menga leo wa akunga wai fo ia le mauka a mes fo ia a maa le atunu o le fau o le container le lungo o le mele kalungo mai o le pili le ele o mama ile mauka le kunanga o kunafongo anga mai le kunafongo si ipidi ele se mea la ka ofiai al benga le ka fiofia foi le mauka o le malosi le avaku ya o kowe ele fai ngofie nanga si la vo ile wa ye me yo kulai mai ya lo kwale am kanga luenga ma e alu wa ya o fa penga o fai ai le ya se me la mai fong fie me le mga o si on si la le ya yo o le fong a kala fe ngai fai ya la me la ku ai o le menga inga ia mangingo le o ka fie ma ko le kulanga fa pe si ya ka fi si o le menga inga ia fa mangingo ila usunga le fa ton al menga ia ka ko ngange ia me lungo o le wafu ka ko nga ia se ko ma company ia o la ofia ska fa kai ia e moliaku le ngang fa kai ale fai masuyo yo ngai kai komik ia fa pele malu mo kai lua na usunga le fa ton ia e mai se le tanga luenga ia o le nganga ko inga ia ka kuange ma ko le ki ngoingo kiuke ma luenga ia e ka kuai ka ko fai ma malo ia mo ngaka manguia ia ma luenga ko nge yaso ia manguia foi kai komiki ma le malu mo fa kai
Ja, moli atu le whaktai mai whaanga e tia fo I whatuanga matungo whio mato moili ni tai au. A wale whale ia tilo matunga ringa po au nanga fo I tato watunu. Ia lo whale atua whafo fo loa soi fua ia te oto uma, ia manuia fufa uma tueli ni as. Whaktai te lava.
Saunge kumuliaku le mkangaluanga o kako ofisa le la so mai ia le manguia ia le kako mkangaluanga le ASPA ia baba inga sunga ia wale yang ia lo ia foi le kusi ale ASPA ngai le peonga kau au kuinga ia I ko fionga ya le man fa lo va la ku sunga le pa tonu ya wale ya e su mai ma kala mai au Yeah, on behalf of the committee, talofa and welcome Mr. Yang and Mr. Toto for this morning. Yeah, for a budget hearing. We're going to give you the floor first, then explaining about your budget for 2025, and then I will give out the floor to a member of the committee for some questions. Yeah, Toto.
Testing. Yeah. Patalo fatu le paio le mauta. Pafio le plesteni le maut maulunga fa pele su plesteni. Ya lo mai. Fio foi le peunga le speaker male vai speaker. Ya male malu te mau le tunu fa pe foi yo. Mai ole tato to fono. Ya patalo fatu le ni tula le taiao ya ole sungala ya wala nyangolo baba ia le matanga luenga le ASPA ya melo ni sungo rain to olo tam faye so swani matata yo atulanga ole operations male malo ya ole memo muaona fatalo fatu olo uma fatala wala I familia kui I fiongo St. John foi pule o to male tar sanga ka ko street lights o le papole le la fa alu male fa ngo September na lo mo me si oka ke o kele ka ko city ko na street light alo o
le la mai alo sunga mon mau le kulanga nga ya se sa skembio nga vakula le of city ya le maro komits ya la ko ku ka ko ngo ya ile le fiong fiu a mai ya so mai fionga ya lo towa.
Whawhatai mo lewa noa. Le eo lo lima na si mo lisi vahanga le wou. Me whawhatai atu lawa nau. Sau noa le whawhetalai. Ia le eo o si mātaimi matapai. Ia. I le eise fisidi le ASPA. Manuia me uma ASPA whawhatai.
Ei, ia lo fionga lo taua.
Ia. Whawhatai wa mausi awa noa lua whaase lua. Whaatu lua tu foi pa i o mautai lua. Yeah, good morning, CEO. My question is, it's about the money that was given to the villages. How many villages did you give money to for the wind farm?
2 villages, namely Aloau and Auma.
Okay, and those were the only 2, right?
That is correct, and the payment was made based on a lease agreement to the villages, not individuals, to the villages of Auma and Aloau.
So how much was given to these villages, please?
$1 million each.
$1 million each?
Yes.
Okay. Where did the funding for this come from?
We used our line of credit for the payment of the lease. It's an advance payment.
Also, you still owe for that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, so who approved this?
We got approval from the board of directors. If I can step back here a little bit to explain what had transpired. Firstly, the developers, they have already invested so much time and effort in the project, and the lease agreement hadn't been signed. So for them to proceed, they needed a signed agreement. So that was one. And the second thing is the villages of Auma and Alawau approach the ASPA management, and they ask, if it's possible to make an advance payment, and we did make an advance payment, and it's not uncommon. ASPA has about 200 leases, and a lot of the leases, we have some advance payment on the lease.
Okay, so we use our money and we're waiting for their money to come. Is that correct?
Well, the whole idea is when we start selling electricity from the wind and the solar, and then the money from that we will, of course, pay down the
But
leases.
that won't happen until like maybe 2 or 3 years from now.
For the solar project within a year, and for the wind perhaps 2 years out. But like I said, the investors will not proceed with the project if there is no lease. As you may understand, and I know you understand very well,
yes,
they're going to buy millions of dollars of equipment, and then suddenly we tell them, sorry, we can't get the lease. What happens then?
Okay.
So the developers said, no, before we proceed, we need to see a lease agreement. That's why we entered into the agreement.
Okay, so it's a very important project. Is that correct?
Very important. It's our sole purpose is to reduce rates and to reduce our dependency on fossil fuels.
Okay. The reason why I say is because I know we want to make money or save on costs for energy, but we use $2 million for something that is down the road, but we still have no lights on the east side because there's no wire. There's no wire purchased for the lights, and it's very unsafe. I've brought this up many times. It's very unsafe for the east side, the whole east side. I'm talking about the whole east side. I'm pretty sure the whole island. There's areas that need to be safe. And I did some study because some of the areas the lights were not put in because the sea turtles. So in Florida, they use red lights and they use yellow lights to replace the street lights by the sea turtle area, which is considered like Alenga. So why didn't we not research into something like that? So we can get that whole, because it's very dark. And if you have a flat tire over there, it's very unsafe. We have no railings, and it's very unsafe. We need those lights in Famunmolia, and some of the lights that were taken out, they were not replaced. And these lights that we're putting in 2 months, and it's not working anymore. And in this month alone, we had 3 fires in my district alone on wires. One in Alenga, one in Auto, and one in Lauli. So I know we want to head that way, which is renewable energy, but we got to look at the safety of our people. And also the water. What is the status on the RO for the east side from Mulmule?
Okay, thank you, Honorable Representative. I hear your point about the street lights. We're working on it. There's some areas we're a little bit behind. We will do better. That's on the street lights. Now on the RO machines, the our plant is in operation, and we're working on the second RO at the hour. 4 more RO machines for the east side is on order, including for Aunuu. For Aunuu, it's more than an RO, it's desalination from salt water to fresh water. All those machines are on order, and we already started the work, just waiting for the equipment to arrive.
And lastly, the tree trimming. It's very unsafe, the roads on the east side, Pamonmole. We saw that photo of people cutting the trees standing on the bus, and the answer was no buckets, no bucket trucks. And when we asked for it, there's no bucket trucks. But when there's a function in Tafuna, all the bucket trucks are over there. all of them. So I don't know where the priority stands on Mole Wallen. Pa malulua ku le maukai lua pe a wasi I leo. But pa Mole CEO, please look into that. Pa aftai Mole Vanoa, Whiunga Chairman. Mo watu.
E whiunga ya pone, sento ya ponfua.
Wakalo whakapoi ngi kai au. Ia wa whakakogu ma. Sunga Ryan. Taronga ka komkanga renga re mau ku ma le dei ku langa di box. Ia ma o ke mi kai mo fa mo lunga. E pau me ngo po le ngi kai au. Ngi ke sidi la u sunga le pe fa ko le u langa. Ka sia a o fa fo a fa pe ko mu ia. Ei, vese pe sidi po be Ryan. E fa ma ko sui dai e mo a ko le o ma singa dai. Le la fa kali mai o ku le ko se ka mangi se o ia nga fa fi ka ni ma fa ku ni mau ia i va ka ko ai ku be lo pa ele mo ka
Hei, ia o te msa ngoi ngari sunga ia vai. Ia kwa ka mo mai ka ko stui lai se fai unga oktopa. Ia al Whiunga Santoa, sole mal Whiunga Santoa ia pomeli.
Update, Chairman. Malo Soifua CEO, Wallen and Sunga Ryan. Just a quick question on your budget, on your page 1. Does that include all the, I know that you have received some Build Back Better funding, as I suppose, and then also the ARPA. I'm just curious if a lot of those other projects that are currently going on with ASPA, whether some of that is already included in this budget for the fiscal year 2025?
Our Honorable Representative, that is correct. If you look at the FY2025 budget, it's 107 million.
Yeah.
Of that amount, 32 million is federal funds.
Okay.
And all for federally funded projects.
Oh, that's
yeah. So 107 million, 32 million is federal funds, and 75 million local. And of the 75 million local, 44 million is fuel.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay. Yeah, we saw that under the electric division on materials and supplies. Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure that all of that's included in there. I know these are all project funding, the funds that are coming in. So that's great to see that the ASPA is really going after those available fundings out there to help support our infrastructure, whether it's electricity or water. What is the status of our microfiltration plant in Malaimi? I know last year you said that it was going to be done in about a couple of months. Now here we are a year later. We're still under boil water notice in the whole Tualauta district. And there's any update on the microfiltrations plant that you have there?
Yeah, the plant is in operation for about 4 months now, and it's doing its job. The reason we haven't announced the lifting of the boil water notice is we await EPA's approval. Now, EPA has a process whereby they approve the lifting of the boil water notice, and that's just more than a formality. In the meantime, they're running tests, and all the tests to date has passed. So at least unofficially, the water doesn't need to be boiled, but it's better to wait for the official notice. But plant is in operation for 4 months, and it's successful.
Well, that's great to hear. You know, the Director of Search and Rescue appeared yesterday and testified on issues on fire hydrants. And as you know, we had that 12 years ago, 10 years ago, when we had that lawsuit, and ASPA was actually included in there because of obviously the negligence of the government. So what is ASPA doing to try to maintain those fire hydrants throughout the territory? Are we working closely with the search and rescue people to maintain that, or?
Yes, we met in the recent fires to discuss where the shortcomings were. But what we are doing, every new water line we put in new fire hydrants, as you can see in Pavayai. And now that we have two large projects, water line projects, one in Niuli, from the college all the way to Coconut Point, all new large water lines. When we build that one, the new fire hydrants will be connected. And we have one from Whangalu down to town. When these projects are built, new fire hydrants will be installed and you'll have the proper flow. But existing fire hydrants are connected to the old system. And some of this system has been around for 30, 40 years and is not adequate. So that's why this upgrading work. So the next area will be all of the main road on Niuli and Whangalu towards downtown.
All right. Well, thank you very much, CEO. Again, I can't say enough about the importance of how, especially these fire hydrants, there's a liability issue, but more importantly, the safety of our people when things like this happen, when you have these fires. So I'm sure that is part of your priority to address that ASAP, especially given the recent event. Senator Ponge mentioned something about the frequent power outage. I will let you deal with that, but it is a bit of a concern a little bit for some of the people that I've been hearing that it's been a lot more frequently than normally when we have these power outages. I know issues come about, and I hope it has nothing to do with the infrastructure itself, whether we're still in good shape and so forth in terms of our electrical system. But having said that, I know my colleague here, we really appreciate all the good work that not only doing for the Kuala Lumpur district, but throughout the territory. I know you guys work extremely hard to upgrade all of the sewer system, water system, electrical system, and the many other areas that you work on. So we appreciate the leadership and all the good work. Thank you, Chairman, for the...
Wallen, 113 million comes to your office. Clean water and replacing toxic lead. Did you use that money for Biden infrastructure?
It's about $30 million a year.
What happened to the rest?
They don't give it one time. They give it annually.
I know, but
so we use up every year. We use up about.
So how long are they going to?
For 5 years, and 2 years have passed.
You know this money I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the BIL.
Invest in infrastructure.
Yes, yeah.
Saudi.
Yeah.
So what happened to the sewer? It still smells. Now Malalo is smelling again. What happened? Is it the load? Is it the waste here in the Bay Area is heavier than the other part of the island?
Yeah, I'm really sorry for it. We put in the auto control, and it's supposed to work as designed. But there was a time where the media, the delivery of the media was late. You just have to do a better job on that one.
Well, when Abe was alive, it was no smell. Now when you're in charge, it starts smelling.
Yeah, but the one thing, Senator President, is we connected sewer lines all the way to Onisosopo, and now we're getting up to 1 million gallons of sewer pumped from there to Utule treatment plant. Before that, 1 million gallon per day wasn't coming from there. So we have increased flow of sewage from the east side. Yeah.
Toto. Pa wale me kile fifi ngi me palpala. Wa ve me lo ki ngo fo nga mama. Or kangi lelen ko fa pu risi ku lelen fa ur kai mi omis. Or mo kwa palpala la me uli o isa en plasma pa. Fa mama. You better paint that tank.
We got it.
I don't want to see over there, it's dirty, where I'm leave. It's clean.
Okay.
That's Beverly Hills up there. Okay? Yeah. So I want to your project on the other side cleaner.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, malo. Aftai ia lo fiunga pomele a Maya ia so ma lo fiunga ia ftui.
Yeah, Fafkai love my love go to take Mickey. Good morning, Walden. Over here.
Morning.
Yeah, paiele. Fono fai tu la phone fio maile plus kenge male. Fono fikalai. Walden, I just like to ask a question about the tank in Faleasao, the water tank.
Yeah.
When is it going to be constructed? Is it going to be constructed soon?
Yeah, it's planned for later this year. We're just waiting for the tank to arrive.
Oh, you're just waiting for the tank. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And my second question is debit meters. You said that we're going to replace all the old debit meters that will be more cost efficient here in American Samoa. Have you started the replacing of the old debit meters?
We just awarded the contract, $1.6 million.
$1.6 million?
Yeah. So as soon as it's not just the meters, but the billing system. So as soon as they arrive, we start installing them. But we already awarded the contract.
Okay. Ako ngalo fai debit meter lei mango fa mole a. Ya o lei fa kai lavali.
Yeah, lo fiunga ftui a Maya ftui o nga lo fiunga yalo.
Leif Afkai, one of my questions has already been asked by Senator Obele. Toto, o lewa e ka ua street light I o lo amai. Listen ngai me ka apu lewa o maku I've been bringing this to your attention, Mr. CEO. The distance between Ta'u and Fitiuta is almost 13 miles. And I request street light between Ta'u and Fitiuta. Just in case if there's any emergency on the way to Fitiuta or on the way at night, you need to install some street lights there. But you only install few.
Actually,
So-
we have the street lights, so it's called solar street lights. So we don't have to run the wires. We just have to get it installed. Yeah.
Well, you better install them now. We don't have to wait another year to install those. My question is a little, I appreciate yesterday's putting back the lights on. Thank you for that. But there was a report by some of the employees of the ASPAs. Are you doing any favoritism within the ASPA?
As far as I'm concerned, no. Yeah, I don't. There's no reason for me to do that. Yeah, I don't do that.
I know, I always commend you for what you're doing at the ASPA, but when anything comes to me, I will put that in light with you guys. Toto, ise me fa preocupo yo las. Langa o Samoa ye complain maya ke o lo yeile. Lo ye fuanga fa pe e folinga mai. Fa wa wo lu kanga ka ye mai fa.
Pa time la manoa. Ele o mo tu pula tulanga o fa au le e inga tanga te fo au mai pe o fal mai e mai fo mai nurses pe o ASPA mga mianga ka lo e to mai ka heavy power electricity ma vai ele fa pe fa au le ko mai nga ele o wo kele nga ko li kaya le ko you don't have that expertise I konga miksama keminge ma fo nga le fa il ka ko emergency program e ka fo fo le kulanga nga mo kamfanga o ka ko lo ko e ka li mai le ya kam ko rima. We just got back from Manukau, so they're in the training process. But in the meantime, we have to sustain our services. Kawanga continue le halu ngalbenga se ka training ai kama fo ya. So banga le fa au mai ya wa le fa au fo ya le kamalo.
Well, ol concern no we fa mo mo priority ave yalom fanga wala mo mo. So se makanga le. Fa mo mo kama fanga wala. Lele o isi avango kawai Ia le vangola nga kalai le vangoi kua. Ene whapeo se whailongalang. Pare whapeo ngā umai a kungu. Ai au o mai lali poki whapeo la e whaiku au le whaingola ngā lue. Ia kauanga whailoa a whapele o kupu. Ia a whawhakaino lo lua whamaongi le kuala se sila mai. Whawhakai Chairman. God bless CEO.
Thank you.
Fionga sentoia alo, ia mai, ia ngā somar fionga sentoia kongiola.
Good morning, Warren.
Morning.
Thank you for doing a good job. A lot of things you are initiating, it has a potential future to stabilize us, the territory in the future. And the question I want to ask is that it's the water issue. Are you redoing all for the fire hydrants and the water pressure? I think this building is going to have a sprinkling system. And the question is, can ASPA provide the pressure to make sure that element is not an issue?
Yeah, well, all the new pipelines we laying, all the large diameter pipes, 6 inch and above, we put new fire hydrants connected to it as well. Now for critical facilities, for example, the new hospital and other large or critical facilities, it is not, it is normal for them to install their own fire pump and a fire tank. We have done this in the Satala plant, and we're doing that in Tafuna plant. And the main reasons are, for example, during hurricanes or cyclones, when before landfall, we normally turn the power off. When we turn the power off to safeguard life and property, the pumps sometimes won't be pumping water. That's why these critical facilities must have their own fire pump and tank. Now for the smaller facilities or buildings, they mainly rely on the fire extinguishers or fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the concern. But my question is relating to this building.
They have not approached us as regards what type of fire system they will have in this building. We don't know if it's a sprinkler system or a gas or some other one. But after this meeting, we will check with them.
Okay. Thank you. And certainly continue the work you folks are doing with progress in those areas. Thank you, Juan. Thank you.
Yeah, le fionga e tongiola, a mai le fionga e tongiola, so le fionga sui malu ya whaimele.
Good morning, Mr. Young.
Good morning, Senator.
In your supplemental sheet that you delivered this morning, I'm just looking through it, and I think it needs some explanations for my understanding. Ole pepalena to mainil tayo mana omie nai papulang. I'm looking at your uncollectible accounts under revenues. Are those accounts written off or just still accounts receivables, or how do you treat those uncollectible accounts?
Firstly, we rely on the auditors' recommendations. We try not to take it off the books, but we follow accounting practices and codes. and rely on the auditor to advise.
Why do you have to rely on the auditors when it is a business decision, is it not? That you treat it as a write-off while you still write it off the books and you still try to collect the amounts like, a bank would do? Isn't that normal accounting practice?
Yeah, what we try to do is collect. That's the first thing we try to do, because if the uncollectibles get out of hand, then we have cash flow problems. And we try to leave it as long as we can on the books, but you can expound on that, how the customer service handles that.
Yeah, my concern is somewhere along the line, someone has to pay for that amount. And unfortunately, those that pay are the ones that pay, because sooner or later you have to balance your accounts, including your losses. So you're actually subsidizing those uncollectible accounts.
Yeah.
And my concern is that almost on an annual basis, over 200,000 is being written off, is uncollected. And I don't see any category where you say, written off accounts, collectible, receivables, or how you're treating that. It looks like that when you, at the conclusion of your fiscal year, you just write off, like, so far in 2024, you have 208,921 of those uncollected accounts so far.
Yeah, those are bad debts, and a lot of times people left the island. We try to contact our customers, try to contact them not on island. It's just...
None of those are commercial clients?
No, with the commercial clients we go after. A lot of them are residential. Yeah. They just go off island, and they when we try to we disconnect and no complaints, we know they're not in the home anymore. And,
my concern is the eventual subsidization of those, losses by the ratepayers. Okay, well, I think that's a conversation we're going to have again in the future, because that is a problem from where I sit as a public utility. Okay, down to your deductions. I see you're projecting a loss of, so far as your loss is $147,143. What are your projections for the end of the fiscal year 24? Are you projecting that to be in the black or the red?
For FY2024, we want to end up on the black side, even a little bit. It is important for our financing and for to satisfy our investors. They always look at our financial statements every year. So for the last 3 months of FY2024, we'll have cut back so that we can reflect a small surplus. But up to June 2024, the losses total is just 291,000, and we're confident we can be on the positive side by the end of the financial year.
So you're projecting that you will end up in the black by September 30.
Yeah.
How small are you?
Our typical target is around 400,000 a year.
Okay, that's small enough. All right. Let me go down to further deductions, like your miscellaneous interest bank fees, where you take much of your gross profit and where you end up with, a small net profit. Why aren't you deducting interest and bank fees as part of your operating cost?
Well, we could, in our financial statements, it's like this. It's separated from the operating cost, but it is a cost. Interest payments on our line of credit.
Well,
yeah.
my concern is that you're taking it off twice. Because if you are deducting from your normal deductions, the account, the cost of money, that means it should include interest, and bank fees, interest payable on what you borrow, and fees for what you pay for money transfers, borrowing, and all that.
Yeah, Honorable Senator, it may look like that way, but we separate it. We don't mix the interest payments. It's not included in other expenses. It's separated.
Why? Can you explain why? I know your accountant says to separate it.
Because that's the way we present it in our financial statements. So the way we report our financial statements is exactly how it's done in the audit. So when the audit time comes around, it's just like you just cross over. It's easy. We don't have to do too much work to separate it again.
You can assure me there is no double dipping.
There's no double dipping.
Okay. I just want to be sure that, because if you end up with a gross profit of $1.8 million, and 1.3 of that goes right away to your interest payments, seems to me that you're taking these expenses off, twice. But if you say that you're not, then we'll have to take your word for it. Have you received your financial audit for 2023?
Yes, we have.
You've submitted that already?
Yes, we did, yeah.
Okay, then last question. Please explain for me what earmarked for equipment and capital improvement, grants revenue. Does that mean that all that reserve is grant funding, the 16,
That's right.
for 24 so far, 11,215,000?
Yeah, that's all for
It's
grant
all federal
projects.
funds?
Yeah, all federal funds.
All right. Thank you. Manunu, my favorite subject. You just told the Senate that you paid $1 million each to A'oloau and $1 million to UMA as advance payments. Is that correct?
On the lease, yes.
On the lease. What is the total amount for the rental for those leases?
It comes to about $1 million a year.
For how many years?
For 25 years. If I can step back here a little bit, we do not need to lease the whole of Manunu, but that's how the agreement ended up. The whole idea is to preserve the forest. We need only about less than 30 acres for roads and for the site of each wind turbine. The rest of Manunu and the adjacent areas we will not touch. We'll preserve the forest.
But you're leasing the whole of Manunu?
Whole of Manunu.
So let's say, 10% for development and 90% for preservation?
Yeah, maybe, about 80-20.
80-20?
The whole thing, the whole idea is the environmental folks were very concerned that once we build a wind farm, then the people will start building houses and cutting down the forest. So the only way to preserve the forest was to lease the whole thing.
Where is that mandate in the statute, in your enabling statute, that you are also charged with responsibility for environmental conservation and preservation?
There's no specific rule or law requiring ASPA to do it, but I think it's the right thing to do to preserve the forest
I commend you.
for the future.
And I can easily agree with what you're saying, but sooner or later, these rentals that you pay for these developments are going to be passed through to ratepayers like me. True?
That is correct. We have run the numbers.
So you're making me pay for your conservation and not for electrical production.
Yeah,
True?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's
Well,
true.
let's get a good answer. Is that a yeah or a kind of a yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, then why shouldn't I complain about paying for your conservation program when all I'm supposed to pay is for the electricity that I use out of your power line and the water that sometimes I don't use?
Yes, sometimes this thing is inextricably interwoven. We can't separate it. For example, we're paying for the study for the bats and a small snail, hundreds of thousands of dollars on studies.
Why?
Now, that's required by U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They want us to study the bats.
For the Manunu development?
Yeah, and one very small snail.
Well, I must say that you asked for it. Because when you decided to become conservationists, this is what comes with conservation. Is it not?
Well, we didn't want to be the conservationist, but it came with the project. Yes,
But that also is going to become an eventual expense to my electricity bill because it becomes your expense, is it not?
Yeah. I'd like to assure you, Honorable Senator, the rate is, when you divide it per kilowatt hour, it's very, very low, less than a penny per kilowatt hour. But that is what is needed to build the project.
But the cost of your operation becomes part of the expenses that goes into determining your rates.
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah?
That's correct, yeah.
I would think so. I was the chairman of the first ASPA. So some of these, I already know your answer. I'm just asking for the record of this incident. Now, you said you entered into leases with Aoloau and Auma. There are signed leases?
That's correct.
Are these signed as village lands or communal family lands or natural forests?
Villages.
Village land?
Yeah, yeah. As outlined in the appellate court decision in 1982, where it refers to the two villages. No individually owned land.
So is village land considered communal land?
Not necessary, depends on the context.
No kidding. So could be not communal land. So does that allow you to avoid going through the land commission and the governor to approve these leases?
If we have to do that, we'll do it. Our position
Have
is
you?
we will comply with the laws and regulation of the land.
But you're
fully.
saying that because they may not be communal lands, you don't have to.
No, they are communal land, but it's just
Okay.
under
now
the
we're-
villages.
Just a while ago, you said no, depending on the context. Okay, that's why I'm pursuing that. And that's the concern that I would have, because the leases that I've seen does not have the governor's approval.
It hasn't arrived on his desk. And if I may ask you, Honorable Senator, we would like to, if you help, if you can advise us to, we'll come to you.
Me advising you?
Well, we all work for the people, if I may say. Yeah.
But you have your own attorneys, do you not? You hire attorneys to advise you on legal matters for the utility?
That is true, but we recognize you as an expert in this area. So, hence my request.
Are you calling me an expert
Yes,
now?
yes, yeah.
Ah, I see. Well, my fees are $450 an hour, but I have not been hired by you as an expert. So, and if you do, I would have to decline because I have a conflict. I sit in the oversight government operations of this house. I have a serious conflict. And from there, that's why I'm asking you these questions. All right? So my services are not available to you on the other side. I'm sorry. But, okay, so you've already submitted the leases through the process for the governor's approval.
It will go through that, yes.
Frankly, I have been checking for land commission announcements. I haven't seen any.
Yeah.
So how long ago have you submitted those leases for approval?
We just in the early stages. We signed the lease and we're going to the next steps. And
When did you submit those leases for the governor's approval?
we haven't. It's making its way there. Yeah.
Mr. Wallen? It would behoove you to not give us fancy answers. The answer has to be, I asked you a question before, you said it's been submitted. Now you're saying it has not. It's in the process. But, okay, so your last answer is it's in the process. And I'm thinking that only because I asked the questions, you're having to answer me that it's submitted, but you really had no plans on submitting that, did you? You did?
We fully intended to do that, but our partners, the village councils, advised us maybe we don't have to. That's where we slowed the process. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, my final concern is if you have paid out all this money and objections become prevalent in this process, and the governor is compelled not to sign the leases because of public objections, how are you going to recover the $2 million?
We have gone through this scenario a number of times. It's just like a risk we have to take. And I'd like to give an example here. When we wanted to find geothermal power, we spent $3 million drilling for geothermal, and we didn't get anything. But unless you take that step, you'll be still down there. You won't go to the next level. So this is sometimes a risk we have to take as a utility. If we had the slightest idea that we can't find geothermal power, we wouldn't have spent $3 million. But unless we spend the money, we won't know.
Yeah, well, the difference is, Mr. Young, is this. Geothermal exploration is fine, but this process is not exploration. You're paying money for a rent that may not, for a lease that may not be approved. And that's not exploration. That's just putting money out without taking all the legal safety requirements that could prevent you from spending these public monies unnecessarily.
You're right on the money. We fully agree. But we had done the evaluation. If the price of fuel doesn't change for the next 25 years, the territory would have spent $25 billion over the next 25 years. Sorry, $2.5 billion over the next 25 years. We looked at the territory spending $2.5 billion versus $2 million. So the gain from this project is just overwhelming. We had to take this risk. We spend about $50 million a year on diesel. Well, for 25 years, you can imagine how much it's going to cost us.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. Have you, in a study, come out with a calculation on how much less ratepayers will be paying over the next 25 years if wind power comes into the grid from this very project?
Okay, yes, we have. And we have announced before that we can reduce rates by up to 50% for the next 25 years. The electricity produced by the wind farm, gonna buy it for about 10.5 cents a kilowatt hour. But the fuel component to produce a kilowatt hour of electricity, just the fuel, not the labor, not the parts, only the fuel, is 31 cents. But with the wind farm, the developer, they finance, they design, they build, they operate, they just sell the electricity to the utility at 10.5 cents.
How much less is the surcharge going to be with the inclusion of the electricity produced through the wind farm?
Well, whatever fuel we don't buy because of the wind farm, there's no surcharge.
Do you have any numbers on projected amount of that reduction?
Our current projection is about 75% wind and solar power.
Over what period?
If the load stays fixed for over 25 years. But we know the load will keep growing and growing, and
You're projecting the loads to increase?
Yes, actually the weather worldwide is hotter. Our loads have gone from 25 megawatts to peak 30 megawatts now.
So you're projecting increases in productions even without increases in household? Because the projection on households is not increasing. We're projecting less houses.
Yeah, it's the cooling. A lot of houses have installed AC or fans, and the schools is the biggest load for AC now.
Schools?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Have you loaded up all the schools so far?
Contractors are still connecting some of the schools, but we haven't got them.
I'll stop there because I'm getting outside of my area of for you. But whaftaila ulua whionga mo siri malama huinga ia mera kiti.
Dai, ia, la whionga le whai pule whai me leia mai ia, le whionga tintoia sa tele.
Whaptea tolu lo lau se lua, le awa no mawalunga mawa le nei tula le aso, watulu lima whatalofa, le sao mai le tamao le mota, ai mai se le whionga le plestene mal fonfitalai. Ia, nunu atu le mawalunga mal mapoepoe ala tuat sao se ngonga. Good morning, Mr. Whalen. I wasn't going to ask anything, but when you answered the President's question in reference of the foul smell here in the harbor, you referred to the district where this man is, as a representative, that is on our Sopotio here, because of the sewage that is added. 14 years ago, and I thank the former governor, he's sitting right here, Senator Tongyola, we started this program in Naua. The tank farm for the government used to be in my village. 12 tanks that has been removed, that's during the old Navy time. Where we at today, and that's where my comment is at, CEO. And I appreciate the work that we've been working together from Utu, when I became a representative, and now you as a CEO, and I appreciate the collaboration and the work. I just want the both houses to understand that the money that is using for the cleanup of the oil that is in my village is from the Corps of Engineers. And I appreciate that because that money don't come from the source of funding in the beginning from EPA for the sewer line itself. There were 5 phases and now we're down to the end of it. And this is the cleanup of the pipe, but all the tanks are done. My concern is, Mr. Whalen, is I had an email a couple of days ago from the, he just left last night, from the boss of the Corps of Engineers, because this is a private company from California that is doing the cleanup. And the machines in next to the Catholic Church in the Onasopo Park. And his concern was, are we going to meet the deadline by October 31st? Because that is the contract between them and this company. Otherwise, they're going to pay millions of dollars more. That was the agreement. And that's the question I want to propose to you, sir, because ASPA is in charge of the excavating of the dirt now. But they're still in charge of the dump, carry it, clean it. So
I appreciate sometime maybe we need to burn the midnight oil to get this done between now and the end of October. Because now we're going back to the whole village and digging up pipes that is here and there. And that's big work between now and the end of October. But like I said, this project started when Senator Tongyola was a governor, and I thank him for the foresight. And here we is 14 years later, we're down to the final piece. I think there's 39 or some families that need to be connected, and then we're done. But we can't do that until we finish this work right in front of the Catholic Church. My last comment to you, sir, is the agreement in the beginning when we started this thing 14 years ago, that when we dig on people's land, either we leave it the way it is or we make it better than what you found it. There is a remediation fund that you understand that we've been talking about it. We need to get this moving and get this remediation fund and get these people's property and get it squared away. And that is my request with all due respect. And it's just a comment, you don't need to answer, but I just want to make a comment on that, sir. But other than that, I appreciate the work that's been done by the ASPA.
Ia, le whionga sentoia sa tele a mai a ia, whionga sentoia mrai pule, so mai mtapai mape.
Whafkaya I loa Chairman. Thank you for your service, Wellen, CEO. Thank you for your service. But my questions, I will refer my questions to Tuato'o, because he was here in the last hearing. What I'm looking at is the death rate in the island. And I'm looking at peko fiaga ka maliu leangol vai. O la fisili Tuato'o o ela sa ia ka koiloka. Lewa sa vali kolu ma le valu masinga o le isua lea o maia a le foi whalongo loa kursa nganga le a CEO o laua iei au nguu mauka au whai aku ia ki oe kako ilo ilonga leanga whai ngā waka fo ia ki o lua ia le vai pem whai o luanga o mawha le vai laka limas ful kau sanga e le mwhai au ngā kau mawha le vai le io e waka fo il masingi le o ska e masingi a whai ma breakdown a shua mai foi o lua o ia apelira le kausanga ngei. O umonga whale lei. A le whalongolongo aku i le. Menga o muso ai ka fisidi aku a waka unga fisidi anga le. Ka ua kere me ka upulea. E le ingul vai e o lava i le mea whale ua palai le ol vai. E o whae fulunga o se kuloa ka vale me uma ka kongo le lok fale. Ele mkwa le anga whai ai le vai. Pe o lau whasiringa e ki oe lau soa kwa ko o waol. Ka koe longa muli a le anga e. Se koe sa ngua maia. I le kulanga le o fia kali mailo i kumalo i le. I le mka upulea. A maka kua inga i e kau whiololo a maudi. O le la kua le i a i kumea. Au asi i kumea a lao kula. Mkwa le mwhai au ngā kau mawhal vailea, laka limas ful kau sang.
Just baftai le mawhafsidi, sa o lea lo whionga sentoa. O le masingi la ia ua loa mai a. O masingi ngā lenga leilo lenga mungi. E le iola masingi a loa ola kemingi. So it's blending the water from it's producing better water. But it needs to push it all the way to the east side. So a lot of masingi for more alau, but I Pangpango, because there's a well in Pangpango lo foot chlorides, but it's blending levai lele, malevai lele as far as chlorides. Kuleku oil east side. So o pengatala tule sungale faton. O lo o masingi lo okle oka mo alau ma Pangpango. Alela ko ki mai al masingi o ia awa. So lenga ma fatan ngatanro ngafi maybe we might have to look at rushing the Alau project versus the Awa project. But masingi mo au nu lo o ka foot masingi mo nu langa e set to ina treatments. So the machine is running for Awa, but it's the blending of the water for the wells further down the line. That's so as you mentioned, Amoli is getting better. So slowly getting better as far as quality of water.
Mr. Wellen, there is so much money out there for safe drinking water. I don't know why it's taking this long to get this issue settled. But anyway, thank you for the service. Yeah, well, if I've kind of our or the time frame, I always ask what's the time frame, you know? Ele kaunga leo mainga or sa ngua mai o lua. Ia, e umangi foi leo longa le se si koe whakamiro foi vo le si whakausanga leo la lumanga.
The time frame will depend on when we receive the machines. The machine has been, the bid went out and is ordered. As soon as the delivery come, we can put out a time frame. But we will prioritize allow.
I'm so sad to hear that because every time you come is always, you know, yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. The health of the people is important. Okay, if I've time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no fiunga, mara pule, so mara fiunga at pai.
Chairman Mulavno, Warren, I only got good questions for you. First question is, how much of that uncollectible is reflected in my electrical bill every month?
The uncollectible, we just is a loss. We don't charge that to the remaining customers. It's a direct loss to us. Yeah.
So it's not reflecting on the customer's bill?
No, we don't do that.
Trying to make up for it?
No, we don't do that.
Okay, my second question is the solar panels projects in Manua.
Okay.
I hate to say this, but the government spent a lot of money putting up those solar panels in Ofu and also in Falasau. The one in Falasau was getting 100% out of it, working out of it. But the one in Ofu, ever since the installation of that project, there was nothing coming out of it, even right now. And it's an eyesore to see that those solar panels still in off. Do you have any plan in the future? What are you going to do with it?
Yes, we are working on the bid for the batteries. If I can explain this, the solar panel in Ofu, it was designed initially for 50% renewable, but unfortunately, you may recall the battery caught fire not long after the project was in operation. So we claimed the insurance and we received the funds. But due to pressing projects over here, the grid upgrade in Tutula, a decision was made to use the funds first year, but we now have some funding to replace the battery in Ofu. It's $1 million for the battery. So the upgrading, if I may just say this, the upgrades in Tutula and the modernization of the plant and reinforcement is a $16 million project for Tutula. That's why our grid security is not high. It's, I would say, average grid security. The Tafuna plant cannot handle short circuits. When we have system faults, it goes down. That's why we have 4 new generators under installation, new switch gear, new substation. The total cost is 16 million investment. And all the money that we had, including the surpluses from the previous years, we put it into this project. But I'm sorry to say that Ofu is delayed, but we use some of the insurance money for the project because we had to make the down payment there.
I think you should take another look at the projects in Manua.
Okay.
Those are the only viable source of energy that you can provide for Manua almost every day. With the fuels coming out with the boats every day, the diesels for the generators in Manua, if the weather is bad, then you have a lot of problem with that. You have to transport fuel every month for Manua. But you look at another alternatives in order to subsidize the powers in Manua.
Yeah, I accept what you say fully.
Of that, Chairman?
Ja, jongen, pai, amai, ja. O le whiunga ia ape ala whai kako whawhkai.
Ia, whawhtai atu, Chairman mo le avanoa, whaatulo atu fo I pa ia mautou lua, mautou lua. Talofa, Walling, just looking at the all this fuel, the great amount of fuel that we are burning for electricity, as the department looked into conducting the study, you know, if it's safe with all this fuel burning, especially with constituents right in the back of, in Satala, that lives right in the back of the plant.
Yeah, we have studies from the past. There used to be a plume in the harbor. There was a study, and due to that study, EPA has limited the emissions for Starkeys and ASPA. The sooner we move to renewables, I think it'll be better. We have a slight advantage over larger countries. It's a small island, and the wind takes the plume away. But nevertheless, I understand fully your concerns, and I'll share some of those studies with you.
And how long ago was the studies conducted?
This is before the new plant in Satala was erected. But due to that study, we had to move from low sulfur diesel to ultra low. All the diesel that we burn today is ultra low.
So you're saying ultra low diesel is better than?
Yeah, low sulfur diesel is 500 parts per million, or 5,000 parts per million sulfur content. The diesel we use now is between 0 to 15 parts per million sulfur. So it's more expensive, but that's what we had to do.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, whamaru rop whiunga ape. Se kukasa kola wungala ngala usi maile au le whiunga president. Amaya, ia on kukula le lau whiunga sui malu.
Project at Pewaiai, we were there on the dedication, the opening, the groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Is that working now?
Yes, work is ongoing. Yeah.
What's the transaction? You going to buy the power from them, or?
We're going to buy the power from them. The price is about 11 cents a kilowatt hour.
So, are you a part of that project?
This instrument...
Are you a shareholder or something like that?
No, sir. This, I wish. But this is called a power purchase agreement. It's done worldwide, where the investor, they come and install the electricity and sell the electricity to the utility at a agreed price. So the price for the solar is 11 cents a kilowatt hour.
Do you know if the governor or any members of his staff are part of this project?
No, sir. I don't know of anything. And from what I have seen, no. I don't know anything.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Ia, le lau whiunga ape. Ia, whai lau siri ma. Ska ku whawhkai whamaungianga ngaua.
Ia.
Maungia.
Whawhkai kui. Lau whiunga kai komiki marunga o kinkau. Whakalofa fo I whiunga I Molimau, Mr. Walling. How many students is ASPA taking per year for the apprenticeship program?
This year we were aiming for 20, but so far we got about 10.
Are you guys holding these workers or students on a bond notice? Are they on bonds? Do you guys hold them for ASPA for a certain number of years?
Yes, there's like a bond. Like we send them to schools, for example, just an example, 3 years, they have to come and work for ASPA for at least 6 years, double, right? Now, if they leave, then whoever signs the bond has to pay that money to ASPA. Now we have modified that agreement. If they leave and work anywhere in the government, for example, public works, or there's no penalty, but they must stay in American Samoa.
All right. I have a question for our budget. How much are you guys spending on fuel?
Just say approximately $50 million a year.
How much was the year before?
About the same. The fuel prices hasn't changed, but you will see in our budget we have not projected, but we feel that the wars in the Middle East and Europe will end and the prices will fall. So we only budgeted 44 million for the fuel for FY 2025. But in 2023 and 2024, in some months we were paying $1 million a week for diesel.
So we are heavily dependent on diesel or fuel, fossil fuel. Is this going to be the trend? I like the risk you just told us today. You risk, so we won't be dependent on fossil fuel. Is this reality, and is this reality for American Samoa with the wind farm?
It's a reality. It's not a new technology. Everywhere has been done, and we're not testing. It's a mature technology, and we just have to implement.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for taking that little risk. I mean, you've mentioned my district, the risk that you took, which is $2 million is, it's a lot of money. But you took that risk just so we won't be dependent in the future for fossil fuel. You also risk on thermal, which was $3 million, and now you spend the risk. But just to let you know, as long as you do it right, do what you got to do. We don't want to be dependent on this fossil fuel thing. We know the bad part of it, but yeah, we don't know, everything comes behind what you're risking on. So, yeah, thank you, Chairman. Oh, yeah, that's all, Chairman. Thank you, Wallen. Thank you for that risk.
As of the
41 cents, I think.
39 cents?
41
cents
per
41
kilowatt hour.
cents?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the PV on the PPA is going to be 11 cents?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 11 cents. What's the base rate?
It's about
9?
10,
About 10 cents.
Huh?
10 cents.
About 10? So that's 21 cents. Okay, how about the lease? Who's paying for the lease?
The lease
I'm talking about PV only first.
Yeah, the lease is about a penny per kilowatt hour.
10?
A penny, 1 cent.
So that's 22. Okay. What other incorporated into the cost?
That's how it's going to be.
So when the PV is finished,
yeah.
Okay, we're going to expect to pay 22 cents.
Not just the PV and the wind. Because the PV is going to provide about only 20% of the energy.
Yeah.
And the rest will come from the wind, another 60%, 50 to 60%. So together they'll about 80% renewable.
So 75% comes from the PV and the wind?
Yeah, combined. Yeah.
Combined. And how much is that? When you add that when you
just
put those together?
Yeah, just as math after that. Yeah.
I want to know how much so we can save here to make this thing worth. There's a lot of money going out on the leases and so forth.
Yeah, like I said, the diesel, we're paying $1 million a week on diesel. This money for the lease is, if you look
but
at
I still want to see the end. What's the end result we're going to get into?
About,
Just want to know how much we're saving.
If I can put it this way, about 50% of the going rate.
About 50%?
Yeah.
So we're looking at about 22 cents.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good savings if that's what it is. Because I'm worried about the lease.
Yeah.
We don't want to wait until the end and then find out it's going to be a lot more coming out. So what's the time? So it's going to work, right? Okay, one more question. There's a lot of equipment that you guys been bringing on board, and a lot of jobs too, a lot of projects that are in-house. And I know there's a lot of money coming down. And why can't you outsource some of the design or engineers to put these plans together so we can move this thing forward? There's a lot of money coming down.
Yeah, like I said, for FY2025, we have about $32 million of projects, right? So these two big projects are ready to go out. Like I said, they're about in the area of about 10 million each. water lines for the Tafuna and downtown area. And then we have other projects. We have 42 projects ongoing right now.
What I'm getting to is, if you have equipment now, the price of the power should come down because you are saving a lot of money outsource these projects. So that's what I'm getting to. Anyway, thank you for coming today. For ituto, batule nganga fatai, there to the sunga ya wallen mo le mo fo leva no influenta to mafuta papene, tate to fa, te tonu le nganga ya o fo info tuanga va tu ne mota. Ya to na ma o lua, tu langa o lua o lo ye ma lo sin influenta ta nu ni se fu fanga to ino ta to nu. Ai mo fu fanga to ne yaso. Tai.
Testing. Ya mo le tule ngang fatai ni matanga lwenga wa tu langa le ilo longa ne taiao. After ya tele malu committee fa pe foi te mala tunu I to sili mato te mai mato fa tuanga ele manatu vai foi nem talanga renga I tulanga o tau le wila tonta tele kon ka kelele ka le wila mafanga nga wanga nga fai risk o yo mel projects e kam fai e so sa wala fa ki ke ka le wila fa ki ke ka le ka ko dependency on fuels familia ko foi pe fai le al ka ku ai kulanga le vai pois foi isi services o le ASPA o le nganga le kom fai fa nganga I grants mai isi tupe mo mai le federal fa le el tu ma fai nga mo le nga fo ma vai fo fa pe foi pa nisi me tau fai fa le service ya mo pele o le man malo si to fionga ni tai au fa tai mo le no
to tasia tato le longa le toi mai le vai ngal fal mai pa mo mole va vea Leo vai faimsuio il maua se to lua tu io tato lau faimsuio le pion prestene ma fon fatalaia pa ma ta lua in nei taiao va toile au fatalo fa lo sunga ale telefono ia pa pe foi le sunga CMO ia por acting CEO foi ia ma sunga le CFO nei taiao mo sa no malo on sai io tam pai atu ta fa uma ta so wasa to mun mudi ya tu era no ya to peso to sa no ya ona matai do ta to lo ni tai au
ta manuia momono fa taile tua wa le wa li mai nei asfo alo ma walunga pel ma singa I to fionga a o se ola fo I ma to nei leo langa I le tu mau ai matou tele I asa ina le vasa loa. Ia, e mo lava ona Mātou whaatulau atu le pa ia mawalunga o le whalfono. Tulauna le pa ia mawalunga o le maota o senatoa me lo a fiu ai le fionga le Presteni le Senate a fiu ai fo'i a fionga i senatoa. Tulauna fo'i le pa ia mawalunga o le maota o sui malu me lo a fiu ai le fionga i le fonga fetalai a fiu ai fo'i a fionga o sui filifilia mai i tu mālo le tatu atunu. Tulou na lava. A o le nei tai au. A vea ia la uleo e whai ma sui al matu au waa nei. E whaatalofa atu ai le pa ia mal mamalu o le tatu komiti whapitoa. A wale ilo ilonga o le pakete tatu whainga mālo. Whaatalofa atu i lau a fionga i le taitai komiti. Le olo whaawai me lolo mai fo i le a fionga i Presteni le Senate. Pea fo i le a fionga i le fonga fetalai. Ai mai se le pa ia mal malu a fionga i senatoa ma fai pule. Ma lore soifua maua ma langi e maa. Ai se i whaailo atu le mato au waa le neita iau. O au o moaleawa ai fili tufa o le board chairman o le tatou whalmai. Ia o la upito tauanga vale. Ia o le sunga le whamai ia Aitofele James Unia. O ia lea lo o whaia ma acting CEO o le tatou whalmai Teminei. O ia foi lewa filifilia e avea ma whamai siri le tatou whalmai po le CMO. Ila upito tau o le sunga ia sefa. Ia o ia lea lo o whaia ma CFO po le Chief Financial Officer o le tatou whalmai. E moli atu le nganga whaftai mo le matua wanoa e tatou whenua iai a wale paketi e tatou whanmai. Ia manuia lava le tatou ilonga le tai au ai o le amatou malolo atu mo ni sili whaftai.
Ia whaftai atu le lausunga te whono le board i nei tai au. O kawai lolo fo malu man pa i o tatou mo te whono nei. Se watu mo molani o siri pepa pere e watu le wanoa atu tōwham paila tō wholesanga o tatou paketi lea. Ia se tanga i mo mua le page mo mua pa mun mole. O lau tō paketi na lua fe luas fulma lima. Le lau tusi mo mua. Leo te wawa i atu. E la i titi lava i atu pe o le local o tō whaongaina. Me le pito ilunga. Pau au local collection la ia lima afe ono se lau ono se fulua. Oia 5 miliona ono se lau ono se fulua man fit se lau isu tasi. Pau ngau le local connect oia le local funds. Na le lau le fuel excise tax o le ia i fase lau afe. E pau ai o local funds le mo o tau. Al the rest ia umai lau cranks. E saola.
Sao lei lava lo fionga.
Okay. Wa bese tato lus futa la foi i le emergency room so far we already cut the $20 for the emergency room, right? I'm looking at about $700,000 is supposed to be on there, so it's no longer there. Okay, and also the inpatient is 700. Somewhere around there? Okay. On your mission statement, a couple of pages before this, they really spell out everything in here by looking at the budget. This is the first budget that I've seen from you guys is in order. Okay. From the mission statement on page 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 3 pages before that spells out every little thing that's inside this book here. And by looking at the budget here, I'm amazed that that's the only money that you have in locals. So the majority of that money is coming from ARPA and grants. There's no other money come from anywhere.
Good morning, Honorable Senator Odu. Other funding is Medicaid and Medicare.
Okay, so those are our grants and the Medicaid. Okay, what happened if ASPA goes away? I mean, ARPA goes away?
Our plan as ARPA goes away is to enroll all our physicians into PECOs. And Right now, the hospital doesn't get paid for the services of the physicians. So enrolling all this, we have already enrolled all the physicians, and we'll bill through Medicare, and that Medicare monies will come through to cover that funding. That's the first step. The next step is then to work closely with the Medicaid office to get current with our costs so that we may get reimbursed for our cost on the current year.
By looking at all the nurses that came on board, I'm looking at almost $5.5 million per month. I mean per
year.
Per year, okay. And how much money did you get from ARPA?
All the nurses that we have hired have come through ARPA.
All the nurses that you got from off island?
Yes, they come through ARPA.
But you don't know what's the balance of the money that was given that you got from ARPA so far?
I know currently we have 30 nurses employed under ARPA, and 3.9 million of 56 nurses we look to hire in the next coming fiscal year, 2025.
What did you say, 3.9?
3.9 million.
And how much money did you get from them again?
From ARPA?
Yeah.
Yes. Total 5 million, yes. 2 million with the current 30, and then 3.9 million in the coming year.
So you only have one more year to go, and then the money's going to go away?
We have till 2026 to go to support these nurses. The sustainability plan to support these nurses after 2026, LBJ is covered under certified public expenditures, meaning that all costs related to clinical care is covered by Medicaid. So once ARPA is finished, we would like to get current with our Medicaid to cover for the current cost in that year.
The other cost that you do have here is it really tremendously dropped down is the materials. And I also look at your mission statement that you did get into the chain of the hospital of island, so that's how you got that price down? That's one of the mission statement in your statement.
Yes, Honorable Senator. We looking to get into a GPO with all the other hospitals off island. By getting into a GPO, we go directly to the manufacturer and have a lesser price for our medical supplies to afford them. And that's the price that we're looking at to save when we go through our materials and supplies.
Okay, back on the Medicaid and Medicare. Couple of years ago, I don't think this was in place, huh? We had some problems on that before.
Yes.
Because it's a big change.
Yes. A couple of years ago, the hospital got into an issue, and that issue was due to something they call upcoding. Upcoding is when we're supposed to only charge for this price, but then you charge more. Our solution to that is to train our workers, and right now we are training our coding and billing staff to understand how important it is to charge the right price to Medicare. And charging that right price will get the hospital the revenue that it needs in order to sustain itself.
So you're getting a lot of money for the operational based on those issues right now, right?
We are getting, yes.
Yeah, because this is the first time I really look at this thing. It's a big change.
Thank you.
Ja, mo le no ta to mo ta pe ni show. Ja, tui. So na pe poli af tui.
Alo se fu ma via so mai lo su ai fili va so fu ma ia sulia. Ia fa pel to fa ni. Lo sidio. O fa ia Dr. Latua. Is he no longer in
Lawa fionga o Dr. Latua wa fa malo lo man fan mai. Malafteri.
Wale to fo mai.
Sa avela noa e mafain to fo I mai e failanga ngaluenga fa fo mai. Al terminei o langa ngaluenga fa Chief Executive Officer ya ua fa malo lo mai o ia.
O ila le wo Chief Executive Officer.
O terminei o lo Servia for my Dr. Sonia as acting CEO. O nafi o na fa sala wile advertisement Ia o le atu e sa ili se CEO o tatou whanmai, ma le afteli.
Ua le lei whaaftai, peri. O le mata upu nei whanmai alo se mata upu fo. Ko i kiki a administration umai, kupu ale le friction le kongo le poa na le whanmai. Ia le la ua e lua kau mai. Le ua ke ia koe le o ia. O le isi ringo ngai fo mai au ngā kere. O ngā kere fo mai ngai ang ngā luenga fo ia i keimi ua so. Ia le la ua wha mawai le fo mai o ngā o isi ngai ma fo ngau wha mawai le fo mai. But he is one of best doctor ever for mai. A whele si kinga leo o leifo I le kinga leo Dr. Chini.
E moni sa unanga o te mi fo nei wa wha maro lo fo I le konkalake an fo mai Dr. Gene Anderson.
O le leifa afka inga ia mangingo fo I le whaafonga. Ia malasila sila lai le mea o ia fo I tūlanga le pot so o kokingo faula e o lua ma. Ia malesunga ia sunia.
E moni lava.
I hope o lua sa unge take care maka upuia. Angai le mangai. Then it affects a lot of people that work for the ASPA. O le maka upu le skasialo o le mako kumalo. O umanga fai ese fuafuanga al malo, al whanamai.
Se I toe mai fasili whamole reo fionga.
O le sunga I le sa pule le x-ray. Masalo lo ka o konga I le la sud. Ia ao o le port. Wa awe ye o lua le tūlanga le apene.
E moni, o mai le mta upu le sunga lea I le board. Ia al temi nei. Ia le wa mata tal noa ma le sunga le acting CEO. Ia se mas temi o le awhai se mato fono. Ia ona matonga lue le tūlanga la ea.
Lei whaftai hili tautua nā maurua li suni. Langa e ala no ufai atu langa e te lele a whai na ulwhai ngā malo. Pea le fōa mata upuia. Ele manai ala mea o le tupu mai pea ma whanga solo mai le manui o le port. Sa ili la wala e mafua in tupu so mai. Ia ona le leile o le whalmai e le malo am diksam. Langa e whatinga au. Ia malo whalon. Ia manui le lolo.
Amaluku la fionga santoa se kokule mo le sunga prestene nga e mo ya santoa so le male fionga ya soriai
45 million left increase el go budget. 45 million. Made 85 last year. And I mean uma lunga fa pea. I feel.
O le 45 million lele wa fionga o le tupe whaopopo lele from the ARPA funds. Ia o lea e te tongi ai a vanga ese tau personnel o materials ma supply e mana o mia I bloketi fōu ia no whianga i edfan mai. Ia whapea fōi ia nurses, ia malako travel, and also equipment. O le telefo el tupe lea lewa uma o na whaasoa le construction o le kako ER4, ma le awa tele.
A uma nei la le upele, al tupele, apa la lisi me fai. Tue fo ia le ave ese vai atat.
Ua iai fo I porkalama wa uma o na whaatulanga. E tu sai fo I o le avatu a cost reports I le vanga Medicaid ma Medicare. E maua ma iai se vanga tupe. E kawa ia le expenses ia.
Sefa, did any member of the board influence you on your making your decision, paying out bills? Tell the truth. Did any member of your board influence you?
Honorable, I don't, we pay the bills with any services they do. I didn't have any board member try to influence me to pay any bills. If past due, I pay those bills.
Because we're going to schedule a hearing on Thursday. We've got to hear both sides. We've got to hear the other sides, the Ledua and their sides, and your sides, and we're going to reveal the truth. That's why I'm asking you. Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, la fianga le fai pule a Santoa.
Yeah,
La fianga fai pule a Malatal.
Whawhetele, Chairman, mo le hawa noa, whatalo whatu, whawhelo i atu I lau, yonga te committee, yonga for mai tufa. Yeah, I must for the yonga acting CEO, yonga for mai as Sunia. Yeah, talo for the so ya sefa. I hope you're doing well. I just want to focus, Dr. Tufa, or maybe even Sefa, because he worked on his budget. As we mentioned in the House in one of our session, is that, you know, your budget is 130 million based on what you're proposing. The budget that's submitted by ASG was 85.2 million. Now, understanding that there is money that ARPA, the question is, because obviously this is going to, whether, that's the decision the Fondo's going to have to make, whether we're going to approve your 130 million or go with the 85.2 million that's been submitted by the budget office. And we're going to have that debate. Either way, there are going to be some changes based on if we decide to go the other way, because the details have to match what's going to be submitted in as a final budget. But, you know, I can't reiterate, because on your 2023 audit report, basically your revenue was status quo, meaning that I know Dr. Ledua in the past, last year and the year before, mentioned that, as you mentioned now, that there's been some change to the Medicaid in which how we bill Medicaid and Medicare. Honestly, I have not seen any significant change. I think there was like $1 million that was added to your bottom line on your audit for 2023. The concern, which has been elaborated by some of the senators and the Senate President, is again, and that's a concern for all of us, is that because a lot of the money that we're using for ARPA are going to personnel, whether increases or hiring new people on ARPA. Given the additional revenues that's coming in, it's going to be a hard press to try to meet those increases, because if you look at the proposed budget, there are some substantial increases so far, and I know a lot of that probably we're using ARPA funding to do that. We have not seen any cost containment on whether we should be able to hold that at least until such time that there is additional revenue that are guaranteed to come in to be able to support the additional revenue that the LBJ wants. But having said that, I want to focus on your page 2 of your budget. Yesterday, the director of search and rescue came in and testified on the challenges that they're facing with EMS. And I think all of you know that search and rescue was established in 2022, signed into law, in which EMS was part of that whole organism, the whole new department. And in such, all of the materials, personnel, funding, well, all goes with EMS. On that page, there is a grant there from EMS going to LBJ of $290,000. Sefa, why is that still with EMS? I mean, with LBJ, and how come that hasn't gone to EMS?
Thank you, Thank you, Honorable Representative Larry. For EMS, the reason why EMS is continued to be under LBJ, that is because under CMS, it is recognized in our Medicare cost report that EMS is part of LBJ. And we submit those costs through the Medicare cost report. Any visits that come through EMS is paid through that Medicare funding. And in order to offset that revenue, we support EMS by purchasing the materials and supplies.
This is not Medicaid. This is a different grant that you're looking at, 290,000. That's a different grant. That's not Medicaid, Medicare.
As of right now, we get Medicare revenues for EMS that comes through the hospital.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about the 290 that is listed here. That's the grant money. That's not from Medicaid or Medicare. That's not from billing. Can you look into that and let us know?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will, thank you.
You should know you put the budget together. All right, let me ask you this. Since, for the whole year, or since you became CFO, what, about a year ago, how much money that LBJ billed for the services or have received for Medicaid, Medicare, and other services for EMS? Do you know how much the amount is? $1 million, 1.5?
The ballpark I was looking at was around 300,000 a year, and that was for Medicare services.
But how about for Medicaid?
For Medicaid, we get paid through a CPE, Certified Public Expenditures. The cost is covered under the cost that we pay for the materials and supply.
But you don't know how much amount that we're talking about?
It comes in a all aggregate amount, so all of it is in that amount through the payment that we receive.
The Director of Medicaid is going to be here tomorrow, so we're certainly going to have to address this. I'll tell you why this is very, very critical and is urgent, simply because EMS is the most essential and critical service that they provide. They are a matter of life and death. And here we are, can't seem to figure it out after almost 2 years of being able to separate them under the statute and under the law, that we're unable to try to address the whole funding for EMS. And the notions that they have to come to LBJ to beg them for supplies and equipments is absolutely crazy. It really is, because we should make this as a priority, and I don't know, given the director's testimony yesterday, that he did not know, and he has to come ask every time that they need supplies, gas, or whatever the supplies that they need for EMS. It's just heartbroken. And like I said, we need to address this, and we need to urgently figure it out what needs to go to EMS. Like I said, the state plan, I don't know why it's taking us so long to get that state plan changed, but we'll address that with the Director of Medicaid when she comes in tomorrow. But we need to do everything we can. I know it was not a very good testimony yesterday to see that they're not only struggling with many other areas of search and rescue, but especially with the important service that EMS provides for our people. And that is to, like I said, it's a matter of life and death when these guys have to be out there. And if we need to have them have the proper equipment and things that they need to service.
Sefa, I just have a question, if you can refer to page 3 on the patient visits. The approved 2024, go back to the actual for fiscal year 2023. The total number is 145,243. And then approved for FY 2024 is showing 172,639, and then the final 179,751. However, if you add up these numbers for the approved FY 2024, 30,000, 62,000, 26,000, 35,000, that number comes up to 154,142. If you add up those numbers as well for FY 2025, that comes out to 158,449. And we're off by a whole percent. Can you explain that, please?
Honorable, thank you for that. Well, looking at these numbers, and as we add up, they do come up to those numbers that you suggested. I think it may have been a typo or a formula, but I can tell you that 30 and 62, 26, and 35, those are definitely the numbers that reflect of how the hospital doing as a whole.
I'm using my calculator right now. If you have a calculator, check, because the numbers are not adding up.
Thank you, Honorable. Yeah, I think the numbers that that are in to add up to that, the 172 definitely is not the number, but the 30 and the 178, the 3178 for inpatient days reflects what is happening in the current year. But if we do add them up, they don't add up to that 172 as you have shared, Honorable. And that may have been a typo or formula issue, and I apologize for that.
Okay, so the correct number should be 154,142 for approved FY 2024, and the final of FY 2025, 158,449. We need to make a correction on that.
Thank you. Yes.
How much money has been spent on this fiscal year, our nurses from Fiji? Actually, our sisters from Fiji who are CNAs, because they're not nurses.
For the CNA, for the Fijian nurses, I don't have that off of me right now, and I do not want to give you a number that is not accurate enough. If I can bring that back to you and share that with you, if that is okay with you, Honorable.
Are they still receiving allowances?
The Fiji nurses, along with many of the other nurses, are covered under the ARPA funding. So, but yeah, they do receive their funding.
My question is why, for the Fijian nurses, why are they, when the ones that have taken the NCLEX exam, when they take it a second time, why does LBJ cover for them but not for our local nurses?
I think I think, Honorable, that that was when they first started. That was what was shared with the Fiji nurses on wanting to have them become part of the NCLEX so that they could help with our RN shortage. I definitely agree that we have to find a way that we can support our local nurses. During the year, we saw ways that we can be able to support our nurses, and I think as we continue to meet as a team, we can find ways and programs and to support our nurses.
Just one more question. I have over 20 questions, but I have to cut it short as we have so many others. For just looking at the ICU nurses, you have career service over 80,000 for salaries for ICU nurses, and then the ARPA nurses, a little over 40,000. That's a big difference. And where do you plan to get those nurses from, paid under ARPA?
Honorable Representative, can you please rephrase your question?
The ARPA nurses are paid at 40,000 in ICU, career service 80,000. Why the big difference?
Honorable, those nurses that are 80,000 for those ICU nurses, my understanding is that those nurses are nurses that have been here longer on island, and they are in the ICU as the team leader. These ARPA ICU nurses are nurses that we look to recruit and hire. And initially we had our RNs starting salary at about 30, but now I think we've moved them up to 45K to cater for the nursing shortage and retention at the hospital.
Thank you. Whaftai, lau whionga tai tai ko miti mo lau noa.
Hei, ia, o le whionga ia sori ai, ia mai ai, ia so mai le whionga whaipule ia roi taua.
Whaftai, hei le amanoe lau lua, se lua il kumisi sue, ma le fwot lai lau whono iong tai tai. E te lau ceiling tu e whai, ala wharetali mo la strofi. Me lau tupu whan mai le se mele i titi. Al mutoa mutau tia me lau tupu no whafusei nei whan mai. Ai se yo mai umala tau mai e la strofi. E la whaitau tu suenga mafuanga. Mafuanga leu tupu e mele whan mai. Te leu tal noa mai tanga rei tua. E lo i e klono whan mai. Le lei. E tūlanga leu e nei whan mai. Ala tau fi umafusiri. Se o li la strofi. Ia nie.
Ia, le whionga ia loi taua a mai a ia, so mai le no te whionga le, sintoa ia tu ia sina.
Tuaftai o toe mausia wanoa. I lua vasi, i lua. Whātala whatu fo i le whionga chairman, whapea fo i lo. Lo sua tau. Yeah, on page 30, like right down past the middle, the acting chief medical officer, 150,000. Is recorded there on page 30. Also on page 27, it's the acting assistant CMO. Es el chief medical officer male CMO. And these are both acting, and they both get the same salary, 150,000. Or is this another typo? Mind you, LBJ was the last department to turn in their budget. Last one.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Honorable Representative Jinpan, yes. At that time, when the budget was prepared, the vision of preparing this budget was to have.
Is this no? My question is this a typo? Yes or no?
No.
So you have two CMOs.
Acting and a deputy.
No, it says acting and assistant. Is that correct? And same salary? 150,000 both. Is that correct?
Yes, at that time. Yeah.
Okay. On page 26, as you can see, all the physicians are well over 100,000. Are these all U.S. certified? Yes or no? Yes or no?
They're all enrolled in PECOS, yes.
Okay. And referring to the question, Malayo Talo, you have different, so it's because of the services. right? So on page, look at page 69. Item number 2. What does it say? Can you read it?
Strategic planning and organizational planning.
Page 69. And item number 2.
Board stipends.
Board stipend. 180,000. How many board members?
Honorable, there are 5 board members.
So that's about 50,000 plus per board member, annual. Or 30,000, sorry, I'm not a mathematician. I gotta refer to my calculator. 35 per. I mean, I thought it was still, the law still is 5,000 and 6,000 per annual. Well, how many pe afi phone Wi-Fi pe milionga is still the same. And if you're gonna answer, say that you went to a lawyer to say if this is legal, but the question is it ethical? Is this ethical? That's the question. Because, I mean, if I didn't care about the people, I would have a meeting, a board meeting every week, twice maybe, just because so I can get that $1,000 stipend. I'm just saying, you know, because how many board meetings were there when I was at the hospital? Once a quarter. That was it, once a quarter. So, so all this money and all this inflation on the cost, but the average wait time at the ER is still the same, 6 hours, 7 hours. There's no change. So, where are we really spending money for? What? Services not improved. There's the EMS is in shambles, but it's a lot of money. But every time you spend a lot of money, there should be a gain in service. So thank you very much, Chairman, for correcting some of the high positions like the CEO and the COO. Now all you have to do is fire the HR and maybe look into the CFO, because these reports are typo.
Salo o kulanga nga ia ka oko pe ia kulanga nga ile laula wa fongo mat komik fa fo lum kanga luenga au ngisi kulanga ia lava pele ong sa ai ka ko ke fa so mai pe ia kulanga o ka ko pa ke ki pe o mai ka ko mau o mai a lau fionga siman ia fionga ia tu ia sina mai ia so mai mala fionga ia mai ava
atu lua fionga te ko piti bolo wa fenoa malu pele fio mauta lua fio el presidente fio fionga sentua fuera fionga fon fly fon fetalai mala fionga sui to fia ole tato penga malo after it foi so mai fionga de te commit fa foi de acting chief medical officer chief financial officer your budget is always questionable. LPG budget, same thing last year. Wakiki ale pas year go pas kiki for last year. Sa tu ale pas year the same problem. When it comes to salaries, honestly, I would say it's all a mess. It's a big mess. It's like a scam. Sorry to say that. Yes, the same thing appears this year. When it comes to salaries, there's something wrong with some physicians are making 50,000, 55, 60,000. And some physicians are making 150,000. And some non-doctors are making more than physicians. For example, Afapele Fasawabele, Dr. James Jr., Laviam basis like a sword that it would never heal. Why are pharmacists making more than physicians? Much more. There's a physician making 60,000 a year, and a pharmacist is making 167,000 a year. He or she is making 100,000 more. So, let me just say this. James, ola me ole fasa oe o go for my in media. Ele ongi for my pharmacist. By principle, they're not. By professional training, they're not. By definition, they're not. By scope of work, they're not. They work under the instructions of the physicians. They work under their instructions, right? And why are lembo le fasa oe o tolbe? Ele is a medical doctor in Congo report. There's no medical doctor on the board. Now, you are the chief medical officer now. O oe fasa oe mele. Tu salava PhD as a pharmacist. That doesn't make him or her a physician. That's right. By principle, that's right. Ele va pe e a foi. Ele fasa o atu ma tu me e va mol. La fio of the mai. O to e faia. Le fa mele si physician chao. An matu le manu tangato le tudu ma ko strike. Ko strike ma tu langa ele fitoi. Le mele tu nei forma e whatever. Like this is talking. I mean, it's for my. You for life pharmacist. Well, pau na so I say yo lasu lulu bela stuff. Ya on tato to e ngai le tu sa yo le. Ni sio mau tu langa na wo i tato fa. Yeah.
Ia la fionga ya maiava, a mai ai so mai mala fionga ya malai pule. Ia la fionga president.
O ke le board. Ai manga ye fa manga ai fili on ka upule. Ele fa pe fo le akusa pharmacist ma forma. Ai si sa mo akule. Chairman of the board fa mamla makule mele ya ko e a nga mo ka ko se sa mo ai fili.
Ia, whaafitai mo le awanoa. O le tatongi a mata o le pharmacist lo iai terminate whale mai. O le valus fulua a whil tausanga. A o le tongi o le chief pharmacist ai ai, sa ilunga le se lau tolus fulua whil tausanga. O le mafuanga walai o na si ilunga le tongi at pharmacist e paketi. Awa we had a challenge. Retire le chief pharmacist. Ole si pharmacist sa resign. She moved off island. Totoya lola iat pharmacist to atasi. For ma ia Dr. Louisa Clemens. Ai le ifa wa watus fam talanga fam mole se ie se me se fa sao. Pharmacists are doctors. They go to doctor of pharmacy school. Yeah, o pharmacist foi. O le si lea profession ta ua tele I tono le healthcare delivery team. E sao, ele diagnose in the pharmacist ia se mai. A o la tau ia lo o wa lavan malama ma lato tomai I mea tau fuala au ma vaila au e tu watu. E ngalu lue fa atasi la tau ma le fo mai. Ai ai se mai sau ai mo se diagnosis. Ya o la tau ia e wawa ai fa lei I fuala au ese lo aven mai. Pe ai se interaction po le hafo le ngau sia o fa mai tongo tino. E sila fia le pa ia mal malu le tatu atunu. O neon po. O to o tele tato e mawai ma ia ta ua le ma I le pisi or chronic diseases. E tasi le mai. Am salo pe fa lima fuala au ese. O le aso e tasi. E masalo e fa se fulu pe lima se fulu mai e vai e fo mai I le aso e tasi. E iwa se fulu ma le iwa fo mai o le LPJ. A fai e tofu umala tou ma mai e tolu se fulu pe fa se fulu. O le pharmacist e fai le siaki. Ina ia mautinoa e saunga le mu le fuala au le la a follow linge mai. A fai la e fa fuala au. Ia o fuala au mai a se itulou. E ese e totonga le tino e ngau sia I fuala au. E isi fuala au e ngau sia I le le whatunga o po le kidney se tulou. E fo isi whala au e ngau sia i le ate po le liver se tulou. A whaila whataita inga. A whai eise mai o lo o inu le whala au mo le mai suka o le toto mawalunga. Ai a whainga ia kidneys. E le mawhaina tu ua tuai le whala au o ngau sia kidney wai e a whaina tele ai. O le ngaluenga la leo le pharmacist. O la tau foi e malama uma meta o whala au, ia mai ese o le tino. O le wha o ngā whala au. They don't come, they are highly trained doctors who help the physicians with their work. Ina ua resign le pharmacist, le kaya le chief pharmacist. We had only one pharmacist in the pharmacy, checking over 600 scripts a day. We needed to bring pharmacists down. Ya o le mela lea sa apa 12 mai i le company leo le Talavera, e fisoswani mai. E a mai ni pharmacists mo le temi vave nei mo se tani pupu. A lo o tau sa i le fan mai. E haia mai tato pharmacists loko i nei. Ya o le tau langa tu mai le company o le selau 5 wafe. Le ala wa iai nei a pharmacist o lo whainga ruenga tonu le whanmai temi nei mo tempu pu a lo o ngai oi le whanmai e tau sa ili se awala e mai yeni pharmacist tu mau o tato i nei i tato motu ia ma le whalu alu lava whaftai.
Fionga ia maiava a maia, maiava ia so mai mar fionga ia manai pule.
Whaftai lau fionga le tai komiti mo le no matango fie fo i le nei tūlao le au. Mawalungo le pa io mautai lua ia fiu tai tai ma malu ia fiu nei. E lei o le ua o ia ile pe ona batu le fasili pe ona maua fo ia o se tasial nei o. E alu ia ile tulanga nga ien ma fofa mon molea ono tulanga leo le baanga le IMS pa mon molava Dr. Tufa. Paftai o le ua tulai mai la fiu nga tu sai le. I ono le grant itself. Fa mo le ala wo fionga fo mai. Pe o le nga tau ea una. Avisa o lo le EMS ye la lo le search and rescue. Ono la wo ye le EMS. Fa nga yo ye la to tu la ngo le fo blokalam. Pa ona fisili i le ava ma fa alo. Pe o le nga tau lo te mile nei. Ona abe yai le EMS la lo search and rescue. Fa so sonia fo i tu la nga. O le fo mtanga luenga ono le o tangi pe i tu la nga. O le whanga ioina ai o le level paketi. Ma le whaaloalo.
Masalo le fisiri lea e mawhai ona whaapula atili atu le to atu le sunga CFO. A o le grant sa tusi e whalmai. Sa award mai le federal le lawa tai i le tatu whalmai. Ia masalo se tūlanga ngā e mwhai ona au tiro toa iai le laulau a whono, ia whapea fo le sunga le ACEO. O le ase awala i mwhai tato a ngā ia iluma, ia tūsai fo i ma le vanga tupe lea mo le EMS.
Whaftai leo ma watu. Whaftai Chairman.
Ia, o le fionga ia malai pule, ia maia, ia so mai le fionga ia tapai.
Ia tūlei, fionga tatai kumik. Ale, taupule le EMS le, pa iau tapu, ele te mika upu fo. Talo waru ngai le fionga fo inga kom whaian taupule le EMS. O le longa fo se me la le malo fe ave nga iai le EMS, o isi fo te minku ko kasi ai. Al mele tupu ngai, o me umunga sa kaun fo le AVC le, vai lua inga le search and rescue ma le, o le responsibility le EMS ia so uma. O le medical service, o le whanmai. Ka responsible lava le a fo le search and rescue, i keime, mari EMS, i keime kupoi whawe lai whafose. Keime kupoi whawe lawe ia o ngā pa umai le search and o le EMS i la le search and rescue. A le activities al EMS ia so umalava. It has to deal with the medical service i whanmai. Okay, rofo me ngā whenkainga esa le EMS mar whanmai. Le au mai i le search and rescue. O ngā o la kou ka whaio ia so uma. E responsible e respondanga i la ngu pe a kuwha lawe o mai o kuranga mwha pe ngā. Me ngā le e whenkai le mele le EMS. A le ngā ruenga ia le EMS ia so uma. E e kau ko ingo la ngu anga yanga fa mai te vanga la vo fa la ve ku fa fo sei ia ko so kai le ye mes mal search and rescue il fai un ngalwa pa wal mele ko fa ya ko ile lo sunga ai fili mal wa ka va ku le mawe ka ko moka ia sei ave se ava no le sunga le German ma sunga ya sungia e maka i le pakeki ma kup fa so fa mai wa ke lo por menga involve la ole il fai ngol pakeki le ma lamkan ya ke le yo meri usa ngo ye ka ko mo pa wal mele ki lo ko ya wele il pakeki lo sunga ai fili ma lo sunga James ole me fai ngol wenga lo su pasenge do fa ki ai le equipment sa al fa mai e aruanga i lunga le personal cost e aruanga i lalo le ile me kau kuai ngā ruenga le fa le kongu le MRI fa le kongu le isi masingi ia au nebo kipi lale o koukupe fa wheranga sapori ngā ruenga fo mai ma fa pe le me whenga ruenga awanga lau sile kau kuaku lau sunga German ma lau sunga sungia maka ko ai e ka wo hoi me whenga ruenga alu pa ke ki le sangi e lu sul pa senge u fa ki ai mer ko sanga u konga ya wo foi show ponga ki la aude lo sunga le ke komik fa kai mo la ngo
ya la fionga te pai mai so mai mal fionga ya poni mfua
ya fa malo fa state committee e fa talo fa fo I moli mau e tatonu lewa manino nisio o tulanga I EMS le fa fonga fo I fasili wa umona tu watu ya e tatonu ya e mana ya fo sim ta upusiana turi loa e loa taua tulanga ia o stipends e tau atu pea le anga tatonu ia wa vave le ita ta maroa ai fasili I lausunga ile lausunga il fo mai e se tulanga fa tatia nei e fo ia I tulanga o le stipend wai fa afiona tatu tal no fo I ma fa soile I le stipend le ngata nei ia o ta fo ia matou ia le anga tal tonu o tatou le wa in violation le 13-0103J o tulanga yo compensation o le board e la se tulanga o fa tatia ele e lausunga ia e mese o le committee fa foi bolo fa lo
fa time of silly tulanga I stipends ale laulau a fono e sa o nai fa e manino mai tu la fono ai ole afeta la I le fontanga le tatu noa ia ole allowance le sa palota ia I le laulau a fono se teimi o wasola ia o malie uma e te tau ona compensate ia le director for every meeting sa faile nei filinga ai o tele ia I le laulau a fono ai o seisi le I tu fai ona mato tilo to ai ia ma sola pule laulau fa fono se taimi o luma faftai
Alo tai lava chairman
ya la fionga ya poni mfua la fionga ticheri
Wala e fo mai fo pharmacist
ya
na ko ia lo kalava I malu la ko ngu wa ngare fo mai kala se ia ba fa inga ko so ko malu lo ingon malu ko ia la ko mo su fa ia ko pa ma ana ko be ma ngi ma ko ngaku male yo ko ya lo mo sa ke o nga ke ma ko ma me ko fo ma
ya
le vo sa ngol ko ma ko ia so dia yo la ma ko fa kali le va ya so ka ko pilo ai no ia o nga ma ko ino ngi ke sivi se kele lava ma fa mo puanga ma ko au fa ku le mau ia a pilo ia e ku mo lo e fa un o passport
hey ya on sa maya fa mo le ticheri hala ko si mai ala fionga president
ai fili sa o il preparing al pachela
lo fionga la tu sa watu ele ia fa
tali langa ele o ele mam rama le chairman le parking e wa ele o ele du ala ko un preparing al pachela kai
ya elo Titiri, famol, ala wasi mai le awala fionga le. Ya, songa titiri. Titiri, songa.
Yeah, well, they tight. Welcome aboard. Dr. Tufa. Luas fulutala pela to EMS. Uma alwi ole made a far prescription oe rungai fast food tala. Ah, it's all there. It fade prescription. Lela to ya olori stupele mo tele lo. Langai le o fa maoni le vaenga le ala afsidia tu il mele e piki ai tu for e piki ai wala au. I find my they have to pay in cash. Ola to la si ma inga le tu atu la fionga ma to po. Send mo va ka vaenga umangei o la VA bekelengi. Le o to tua send saol TRICARE and Medicare or TRICARE dependents and Medicare mo tangata bekelengi. Charge them 30 or 40 bucks. Si beranga o te fai sawa, charge them wai es fulutala, charge them $20, $30. Okay? Longo dua. Le si le mea fiato vai oe. Msalo se me fo de fa fonga mai foi. Bless kenge ma le speaker ma male tunu. E te longa tangata ne. Lima salau me te va ai oe ma fo mai. Tu sape a tole minuti no la tu vai to pe bas fola e lima salau a charge on Medicare. You know why? I initiated this contract malafionga ya fauminga e o mai ngai o la umela ato fie loan mata nge tu pepelo atu auto sfudulua 5581 12 5581. So se tribute ever yet for my lima salau. You know where that fund come from? A show to a orchestrated fund. Langon fund nga tangata vekelingi e kele mo vekelingi ele o amanga ia orchestrated fund ai fa o leone ngai kaka vekelingi e fai de fono auto e vatuela ko orchestrated fund ele o fa nga lai akapala gere o fa nga no o we code wafi sa fiku wafi a weleng dependent ko kasi nga lo ko lua paula e ai code wafi ele o fa nga me nga o le ya fa minga. E tia so se kemio ke aru vai for my nimes la e o mai nge ai ko fie lo de pi fa baungia la o mai pi ko so ko la lo aku nga ko kasi la va ka
le ai ya maria mai e ko se fulu di malo irunga wa uma la kaimi fa mon mole fa tai ai ale ko la vango ile fionga le fon kalai ma e failanga sidi ma fa mai erka ko ro nga fa mon mole la usunga tu fale peonga vakfo ingisi o fionga I fai pule el kulanga o peong mol mau fo le presidente o kolisi la so ngafi ia I kulanga I ngai o ka ko uso mai fiki o lo fa penga o ngal kolisi ia alala e sele ya o ngale fa king fo mai alala ko I fo I vasenga fa ia mi taila ko kuspasi o le fa la kongele el fal mai saola. Nga va ko siri ka fo nga mo so angio o nga yo ka ko walum fa nga ngai I amerisa mo I kulanga le
we cannot confirm that right now no afionga o meo to tongi tuition nurses here my fiti ai o te awai manatu
se vai fola mo ya vai se o le as kulanga le fal mariu fa mon mol nga va ko siri o fa nga ngo le kulanga lo o yele ka ko fal mariu le meo lo o ku o ingeia pusa mariu o malo le kungu ile vai kemio yele mako wainga fango ngoa kausa o kula vale kulanga ku kulu le fale alai ka kiem ka o ko kungu malo le kungu ka lo fa fo ia lo le kungu lo fenga lo ngai kongole o le fale la al fale fo in fai ma falsa ele kale lo polali sime kale lo penga o I kongo le pule le la por CEO por le malu foile o komiki fa foile me fa ma se si lamba vai con solo uma le mo lungo sima o skeme ka wa kunga kama ye awa ku ai ngai visit ngore ngai kama ye se kau solo mo ese le vai o lo su uma ye pusa al malo la con A me e kong wha awe wha mua ma wha kau ole. O wha mai. Nea vinga e o e whau, whale e whau isi mea si kong. A mea laka o koi malo rea kungu. O le ava kua ile kua lalo i lau sunga. Le ua kula i mai le foe. E mai se foe le sunga i asunia. Kau kua ngange. Kau kua ngange le kulanga lea. E mea lo ka o koi malo rea kungu. Ia, maro whaloalo. Ia lo whionga te whonglai.
Ole sini mua e yanga ia kef. Wa sini ole fantasi mai le mama ma. Olane ole afia ai le tupele ole apa funding Congo le submission le nga mai ole ma. Ina ia fai ona afia el package ole wa fe was fumandi. E aí se ma fa ngol me foi le sa tupu al vai to sanga le otea. Le foi o mai le tu fa so me ai kasi. Na mal su di male a mai package al malo. Ya le o mai fa mai male. Fast food le fa poco mai le apa funding. O sili pola meu le afia tono le. O so le. Fa mai le la ko package. Gafi famos.
Ia, whaftai lava mona o wanoa. Ia, o te whamaruru atu foi e tusai foi male tupe whasoasoa le whanmai. Ai, o le telena o masalo e tolu tausanga. Pe lua foi tausanga e le o include lava e le tupe whasoasoa le tupe lea le ARPA. Ona o le tūlanga o grants e le o ni grants o grants e whai uma. A pe o le pōlenga foi. E elevate ai foi le talo le tupe whasoasoa tato malo. Pe se I o le tūlanga na le tu waia le tupe o le ARPA I tu tono tupe whasoasoa tato malo.
Wai, ole me, ole winga I le painting e whaonganga lau kupenge le o kolu kausanga o le la o tol kausanga kafi.